This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
Rooker, it's a 5 on a deep center. Robert going back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Dolis Garcia swings on the other way. That sends Carroll back. He's Ronald Acuna, another milestone in a truly historic season. Julio with an absolute new field. It's Glaber Day. And like a good Glaber, Torres is there.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe. From humidors to Stuff Plus to walk-off dingers, we have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of A's Cast Live. I hope everybody... David Feldman, top rookies to make the All-Star team, top 10. It's going to be outstanding. Mason Miller, obviously, going to the All-Star game. Mason Miller will be joining us tomorrow right here on A's Cast Live from Boston. Dennis Eckersley. We've got, the last couple days celebrating history of Bay Area baseball has been spectacular. Unfortunately, sometimes we reminisce and we go back when someone passes away, like the great Willie Mays. But what we had on Sunday was historic. I said it on Sunday in the postgame show. I'll say it again today. To have Raleigh Fingers, who we honored, by the way, the new bobblehead here on the desk. Got the new bobblehead. We got 2 Raleigh Fingers now. And you should. He's one of the greatest pitchers of all time. And then you have Dennis Eckersley. And then let's not forget the great Jim Palmer in the house, in the broadcast booth for the Baltimore Orioles. So a lot to talk about with history. But before the game on Sunday, I got the pleasure, once again, it's always so cool to just sit down and hang out with Eck. You're going to see the interview, hear the interview that I did with Dennis Eckersley. But it's like so much more because we got to talk to him before, we got to talk to him after. Eck is really the coolest superstar I think I have ever met. Like, so down to earth, so real. He's just him. He can't fake it. Dennis Eckersley can't fake it. The way he talks to you, the way he talks to everybody, he is just, this is who Eck is. We'll have Dennis Eckersley coming up at 2:30, and then Johnny D will join us. Hot takes. You got your hot take? Hello, Commander. How are you?
I'm good. Yes, I do, actually. And then I got one that I finally got one right.
You finally got, what did you get right? Your hot take?
The Paul Skeens will be in the All-Star game.
Yeah. To everybody out there, Livy Dunn will be at the All-Star game. The national champion gymnast, his girlfriend from LSU, who is a social, I don't want to call it. She's an influencer, right? She's a social media influencer. Would you call her that?
Yeah, correct. Influencer, yes.
Okay. So she's going to be there. So congratulations. You finally got one right. How does it feel?
Not as good as Johnny being right about the Astros going 17-8 because that was an incredible call. But it feels good. My Edwin Diaz one didn't stick, so him not getting another save. I don't know how many he's gotten since then. He got the one, so that takes this one out the window.
Well, he's suspended, so we're not going to see that much from him.
Well, he's back.
Is he back already?
He was back, and then he had a save. That's why they went out the window.
He's got another save since in their
little
run?
I thought he had one since he came back from the suspension.
That's right. I saw him pitch recently. I didn't know he had a save. Yesterday, did you get a chance to watch the Willie Mays?
I saw some of it. I saw the clips that KMBR and MLB shared on X.
Did you see it?
Not all of it, no.
I watched it. Thought it was very touching. I thought it was something really special. And the Giants did and as you know, always really hard for me to praise the San Francisco Giants. The San Francisco Giants did an outstanding job. And really, the Giants have done an incredible job ever since they opened up Pac Bell Park of honoring their history. A's were there. Shout out to Dave Stewart, Dennis Eckersley, Ricky Henderson, Reggie Jackson. But I thought all of it was just so well done. And it just makes you realize how special that era of players were and what they meant to people. You know, maybe that's something we need to think about with our game. It's how much players like Willie Mays, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Henry Aaron, Ted Williams, how much they meant to the fans. How much fans loved and adored these guys. These guys were put in songs. They were in movies. They were in TV shows. They were just a part of the culture. Just wasn't their baseball players. They were part of the culture. And you could tell the way everybody got up and spoke about Willie Mays, the magic of him, and how giving of a person he was. That's one of the things that I took away. Probably the number one thing that I took away from it. It reminds me of something that I recently watched. The Up in Smoke podcast, Steven Jackson, and who else is doing it with him?
I forget who. Let me see. Steven Jackson.
It's a guy who played for the Warriors.
Not Baron Davis.
No. God.
All the Smoke. Matt Barnes.
Matt Barnes. And they recently had Sean Kemp on. And I was watching this, and just not to get too out, but they're asking Sean Kemp. They love asking about Larry Bird. And Sean Kemp told a story about when he was a rookie, and they went into Boston, and the X-Man, Xavier Nady, who always got tore up by Bird, all of a sudden couldn't play that night. Sean Kemp's like, really? You can't play tonight? Everybody knew what was going on. Xavier, the X-Man, wanted no part of Bird. So Sean Kemp is a rookie, and Sean Kemp was a great player. But he's a rookie, and he's got to go up against Larry Bird. And I guess that morning, the USA Today put out an article saying that Larry Bird is maybe on his last legs. So Larry Bird comes out and lets this young kid know, Sean Kemp, that he's going to put it on him. And Sean Kemp said, I was on him. I guarded him. And, of course, Larry Bird always told you what he was going to do. I'm going to bank it here. I'm going to pump fake. You're going to – and then I'm going to hit this. Like, Larry Bird talked to everybody. He was the ultimate trash talker. And they go – and Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes go, what'd he put on you? And he goes, 46 3/4. Yeah, for all you kids who think Larry Bird couldn't play, just listen to the old players. They tell you. And Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes are laughing. And Sean Kemp was like, he put 46 on me. But then he said after the game how Larry Bird wrote a note to Sean Kemp about, hey, young guy, you played really hard. Let's hook up at the All-Star game. Want to work out with you. And to this day, Sean Kemp and Larry Bird have remained friends. And both Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes went, that's how the NBA used to be. That's how the NBA. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, that's how the NBA, Dr. J, that's how the NBA was. The stars took care of the young guys. They helped the young guys that they thought were good. They helped them grow in their careers. And they were both shaking their heads going, that's right. That's how the NBA was. Showing respect for Larry Bird, Sean Kemp, relationship. And made me think of watching the Willie Mays thing that everybody talked about when they went and saw Mays. Didn't matter when he was playing, after he was playing, Willie always said, hey, what do you need? How can I help you? Because that's how it was. Like it was the older guys teaching the guys. You listen to Willie McCovey, and unfortunately, Orlando Cepeda just passed. We saw a video of him. Also saw a video of Willie McCovey. Juan Marichal talked about it, the Hall of Famer, one of the great pitchers of all. They all talked about, Gaylord Perry talked about. Willie Mays was already when his star was coming to the West Coast. He had already been a star in New York, and he was coming to the West Coast. So all these guys are coming to play with the Giants and are coming up. Felipe Alou talked about it. I mean, there was a lot of greats who talked. And Willie Mays was always there for everybody, always coaching, always that you take away from yesterday. Not just, I mean, we know the numbers. I mean, Willie obviously is one of the upper echelon of players who have ever played the game. He's up in that career war where only the greats live. And I'll be doing an event on Thursday night with one of those guys. A guy whose career war is up there with the greats of the great is Ricky Henderson. And I'm doing a big event with him with Comerica. Last year was Jason Giambi. On Thursday night, I'll be doing it with Ricky Henderson and Comerica Bank, one of our great sponsors. It's going to be a lot of fun. But you talk about the all-time, we know that, right? You can look at the numbers, Willie Mays. But it was just how kind, generous, how he helped raise guys in the league. He helped players from other teams. You know, something that, unfortunately, everybody talks about we miss today because everybody now is about individual numbers, individual brands, individual this, individual that, me, I, what's your contract, how much money you're making. That's not how that generation was raised. And here you have Willie Mays, one of the greatest players of all time, would help anybody. Like players would come to San Francisco. Great players would come to play in San Francisco. Joe Torre talked about this. How, like, you'd go to San Francisco and guys would go to Willie Mays' house for dinner. Like, you came to San Francisco, you're the Cardinals, you're the Dodgers, you're the whoever, even the Dodgers. You would go to Willie Mays' house for dinner. Like, do you think that happens today?
Most likely not, no.
I mean, it's a different world. It's really cool to hear, though. And what a special man he was. And it made me think about the greatest Bay Area athletes of all time. And I know David Feldman's going to talk about the top A's rookies to make the All-Star team. But, I mean, when you look at Bay Area greatness, and I'm not talking about guys who were born here and went on to play, and there's plenty of those guys, but guys that were professionals who starred for our Bay Area teams, like the greats of the greats. And I was thinking about, well, you have players, you have coaches, managers. I mean, there's this whole group that you could go through the greatness. Like probably with Dave Feldman, I'd like to do top 10 greatest Bay Area professional athletes. So Tom Brady does not count. Tom Brady was a New England Patriot, a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, even though he grew up here. So if you grew up here, but you played somewhere else, you're out. You had to play here. So most people will not be born and raised in the Bay Area. It will be top greatest athletes who perform for our franchises.
Yeah, one of the guys you could put on there that was born and raised here, Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds is on the list.
That's one.
Well, I mean, where is he? Like, there'd have to be a separate category for like coaches, GMs, owners, right? Bill Walsh, you see the bobblehead right here, the great Bill Walsh, San Jose State. We'll give it a little Stanford, but obviously with the 49ers. Bill Walsh is an all-time great. John Madden with the Raiders is an all-time great. When you start thinking like Hall of Famers, Tony La Russa is in the Hall of Fame, a lot for what he did with the Athletics. Dick Williams is in the Hall of Fame, a lot for winning 2 World Series with the Athletics. Bruce Bochy will be in the Hall of Fame, winning 3 World Series with the Giants. Steve Kerr. Basketball Hall of Fame's different. Basketball Hall of Fame's for like everything you did in your career, and Steve Kerr has the great career at Arizona. Then he won 5 titles as a player. 3 with the Bulls, 2 with the Spurs, and now 4 as a head coach with the Golden State Warriors. But Steve Kerr would be in my coaching category for all-time greats. Owners, obviously Al Davis is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, one of the greatest owners of all time. Eddie DeBartolo. You're going to throw in, crazy or not, Charlie Finley's one of the great owners, won 3 World Series titles, got rule changes. The DH is one of the reasons because of Charlie Finley. You can throw Walter Haas in there. And then, Joe Lacob now. I think Peter McGowan getting the Giants to stay. Peter McGowan would have to be there. Am I missing anybody? I said Joe Lacob, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Trying to get all the owners that have won titles. So you'd have that group of people of Bay Area greatness. But players-wise, be interesting to say who are the top 10. Everybody always has the Mount Rushmore debate. Who's your top 10? Who would be your top 4? Willie Mays is on that list.
Agreed. I think for me, you didn't ask, but I'll tell you anyway. My Mount Rushmore, even someone that's was not born here, but I know the history of Bay Area sports, be Willie Mays, Barry Bonds, Joe Montana, and Steph Curry.
You mean the one I told you earlier on the phone, and you're just bogarting my 4?
Well, we both had the same one. Then the question was, well, what about Jerry? But we both agreed that Steph is.
Well,
titles.
Steph to me bumped Rick Barry. Rick Barry's going to be in my top 10. Look it up, folks. Rick Barry was a legend, great NBA Hall of Famer, basketball Hall of Famer. But Steph has bumped him. Steph is an all-time great. Steph would be on mine. Joe Montana. Even Lawrence Taylor to this day, who's probably the greatest football player of all time. Lawrence Taylor is saying, hey, Tom Brady didn't play by the same rules. He'll still take Joe Montana over Tom Brady. Guys love their era, but Joe Montana is greatness. He's the ultimate winner, 4 Super Bowls. Joe Montana was greatness. Joe Montana was greatness with the 40. The 49ers dynasty started with Joe Montana. I don't know how you cannot say Joe Montana would be on there. I don't see how you can't have Willie Mays on there. The tough one is Ricky Henderson, but the problem is where Ricky would not make it for me is essentially Ricky Henderson. And everybody's like, well, what about Ricky? Well, Ricky spent a lot of his career not in Oakland.
He's played for 8 other teams.
So it's kind of hard. Just to break it down, let's see.
Right, it was 8. It was 9 total.
14 years in Oakland, but they were in different stints. 5 years in New York, 3 in San Diego. Well, excuse me. He had 7 years in New York. 5 as a Yankee, 2 as a Met. Right? He had a nomadic career. 1 year in Toronto, 1 year in Seattle, 1 year in Anaheim, 1 year in LA, 1 year in Boston, 3 in San Diego. For God's sakes, he got his 3,000th hit and set the all-time runs record as a Padre, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So it is, even though his 14 years in Oakland, like he had the early years and he got traded back, won the World Series, won the MVP, and then came back later in his career when he was an old guy. Like he came back once when he was 39, came back when he was for 35, 36. So that's why it's weird for me. Ricky obviously is an all-time great, but when I think of like what Bonds did, what Mays did, what Montana did, and what Steph Curry did. Now other people, you might go, Owen Nolan and Evgeny Nabokov, knowing you and your Sharks past.
I would probably go Thornton and Marlowe, but that's okay. You can.
Oh, you're not going to go Jeff Friesen?
No. What about Mike Rathje? Would you put him on there?
Doug Wilson?
He's already in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Start going through bad Sharks.
Hey, by the way,
Link Gates, the Goon.
Another Shark, former Shark, just went in the Hall of Fame. Going in the Hall of Fame, that'd be the great Jeremy Roenick. Roenick spent his last.
He had a great career.
Yeah, last couple of years, American-born player. We don't have a lot of those.
I'll always remember him as a Black Hawk.
Yes, or you don't remember him as a Phoenix Coyote?
No, the who? Do they still have a team?
They're now in Utah.
That's really an interesting discussion because. You think of like all the different great players because just from the A standpoint, if you're looking at a top 10, you would have to obviously Ricky Henderson, Reggie Jackson, Raleigh Fingers is one of the great pitchers of all time. Dennis Eckersley. We're talking about guys who are in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Catfish. McGuire.
No.
Well, are we talking about just Oakland or the
I'm talking
A's?
all time. If we're doing Bay Area.
Double X? Oh,
No.
You're still, you're
talking about
okay.
Bay. We're back. We're still Bay Area. All-time greats. You got to be in the Hall of Fame. McGuire's not in the Hall of Fame. And then McGuire went on to St. Louis, right? Dennis Eckersley. I love Eck. But Eck's not in the Hall of Fame without those 100 wins as a starter, and all those 100 wins were somewhere else. Now, he became a Hall of Famer because of what he did with the A's. But there's a lot of his, he didn't get here till he was his 30s. So I would go Reggie, Catfish, Ricky, Raleigh. They would kind of represent the A's. Bonds, Mays, McCovey, Marichal would represent, because Gaylord Perry pitched for a lot of people. They would represent the Giants. Niners, I'd give all due respect to, the legends, the old school guys like Bob St. Clair, John Brody, those guys. But, it's going to be Montana. It's going to be Rice. It's going to be Lott, Steve Young. A lot of great Niners would be in there. There's a bazillion Raiders. There's so many Raiders in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Frankie Albert, by the way, who the jump pass with the Niners, and I think Frankie Albert, didn't he go to Stanford? Frankie Albert. So, the Niners are here a long time. So, you go through all the Niners. Frankie Albert was the
Stanford, yes.
Yeah, he was Stanford. So, that's where we need Dave Feldman. Like, what do you do with, the really old Niner players? Like, Bob St. Clair is a legend. Spent his entire career, his entire life in San Francisco because he played at USF back when they had a football team. So high school, college, pros, all in San Francisco, and he was a great player and ate raw meat. I saw him do it. He was known for eating raw meat. Raw steak tartare. But steak tartare is Lisa's and then served. He just raw, bang, iron gut. Raiders. When you look at the greatest Raiders of all time, I think a lot of people don't bring him up originally, but when you think of the greatest Raider, Ted Hendricks was a great player, Pro Football Hall of Famer. Fred Biletnikoff, Cliff Branch, Art Shell, Gene Upshaw, all Hall of Famers. Back when it was a little harder to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, these guys all got in. They dominated. Them and the Steelers dominated the 70s. Talk about the greatest. And then you got our own from here in San Jose, the great Jim Plunkett, Heisman Trophy winner at Stanford, Jim. And then the Snake was finally put into the Hall of Fame, but he was an absolute rock star back in those days. Did I mention Biletnikoff?
Yeah.
You have Willie Brown, the legend Willie Brown.
I keep getting the same guy's name keeps off my head, Lyle Alzado.
No. Lyle Alzado, the steroid freak, is not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's not it. Warriors, you got Rick Barry, Nate Thurman. Obviously, this go around of players. You got Chris Mullen. You got this round of players when you got Steph and you got Clay. I don't know if you put Draymond in there, but maybe Draymond could get into the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame based off because remember, it's about your entire life in basketball, and Draymond was a highly decorated, great player at Michigan State, Big Ten. So it's an interesting list if we really got into it. Who would be the top 10? Because and I'm sure we're missing some guys. I don't think we're missing any Sharks. There's no Shark making the top 10.
No. Unfortunately not. Well, not unfortunately, but no, if you're going to put anyone, there's only one Shark that's a mainstay that's in the well, actually, he's not even in yet. Marlowe's not in yet. He was supposed to go
Marlowe
in this year,
is not bumping anybody out of the top
He's
10.
the only Shark he was supposed to go in this year, but he didn't get in this year. So
when you're talking Niners, Raiders, Giants, A's, Warriors, a Shark is not getting in.
Well, you're not putting Wando on the list? Wando, great career.
No. No earthquake is getting in. Sorry. Am I missing anybody? I said Steve Young, right? Make sure
Yeah, you said Steve Young, yes.
I mean, there really haven't been any. Tim Brown was a great player, but Tim Brown's not getting into that. Any Niners lately?
Patrick Willis, Frank Gore.
Patrick Willis going to get the top 10. Frank Gore is not getting.
No, I'm just thinking of guys that play for them that could be in the Hall of Fame.
I don't want to leave anybody out because I got Mullen in there. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain did play in the. Wilt's one of the all-time greats. He did play here for a while.
I was thinking him.
Nate Thurman, though. I got Nate and Big Nate. Big Nate's barbecue back in the day. Shout out. Big Nate had great barbecue in the city.
Isn't Tim Hardaway in the Basketball Hall of Fame?
Did he go in recently?
I thought he went in. I know
he's not making the top 10.
I know a lot of people remember him.
Run TMC.
Remember him as a Miami Heat player.
It's Chris Mullins going in.
He is in the Hall of Fame.
It'd be a great list. All right, coming up. Do we have?
Yeah, Feldy's. He's not here yet.
All right, coming up. We're gonna have fun with this. Mason Miller going to the All-Star game. Did you know? By the way, two things got to get into today. A's related. We got to give some more love to Joey Estes. Joey Estes has been phenomenal. I have numbers that will prove to you that Joey Estes, other than a couple clunkers, has just not been okay. He's actually been really good. The numbers inside the numbers tell you Joey Estes has been really good. And how about this? Mason Miller leads Major League Baseball with 278 pitches of 100 and above.
That's a lot. He's thrown that many. I mean, I guess
He's
so.
exactly. So Justin Martinez throws gas for the Snakes. He's 100 more than Justin Martinez, who's second on the list at 178. And by the way, he hasn't pitched since July 2nd. So there's been a ton of times where the A's are losing and they didn't pitch Mason Miller. I'm fine with, but just Mason Miller has thrown the baseball 278 times 100 miles an hour or higher. That's incredible.
Yeah, I was trying to think like, so I remember the other guy that kept saying for a while was strong hard with a lot of pitches was Jose Soriano from the Angels, but then he got hurt. So yeah, Mason's blowing by him.
Where's like Class A? Where's Durant from Minnesota? Those guys all blow a hundo.
Durant, I was the other day when he was pitching, he only has 20 whatever day it was while I saw it was Saturday or Sunday. He only had 24 strikeouts on the year. He was hurt for a bit, I think, too, but
trying to think about guys that closers that throw. Class A throws hard.
Yeah. You know who doesn't throw hard? I don't mean to bring on. Paul Sewald blew another game last night.
Ooh, the Snakes.
Torrey might need to find a closer.
The Snakes. Trading deadline's coming up. Who needs to make a trade? See, all those lists are coming out now. What GM needs to make moves at the deadline?
Cashman.
Cashy better move. There's a few. Jerry DePoto better go get some offense. It's fun. All right, David Feldman, our A's historian, next right here on A's Cast Live.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Hi, fans. This season, Kingsford Capital Management is the official hedge fund sponsor of the Oakland A's. At Kingsford, down to business is their way of seeing the world. Investing has its pitfalls, treacherous chasms of half-truth and despair. Kingsford's mission is to create opportunity through application of proven innovation and entrepreneurial focus with trust, tenacity, loyalty, and growth, establishing a strong reputation as a proven intended and validated bedrock of American finance. Kingsford Capital, down to business.
August 5th is International Trading Card Day, and Topps would like to celebrate with you. Visit your participating local hobby shop to receive a pack of cards, plus receive a special card if you purchase $10 or more of Topps products while supplies last. You can also celebrate International Trading Card Day with Topps on August 5th at the Oakland Coliseum and receive an exclusive A's card pack. Follow @Topps on social media and visit Topps.com for more information.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, step up to the plate with Xfinity Internet. Get the fastest speeds and low-lag streaming for an incredible viewing experience that knocks it out of the park. And you'll have a consistent connection with reduced buffering and freezing, so you can stay in all the action inning after inning. When it's game time, make sure to catch it all with internet that's powerful and reliable. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity, because it's only live once. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Many factors affect speed. For factors affecting speed, visit Xfinity.com/network management.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
It's summertime, and I can guarantee you probably need to redo your wardrobe. You want to look good, and you want to feel comfortable. This is Chris Townsend, and you got to go check out my friends at Link Soul. They've got all the finest fabrics. You're going to love the shirts, the polos, the shorts, you name it. Redo your look for summertime. Go to linksoul.com right now, and you can get an offer for 20% off. Remember, in the big leagues, to play good, you got to look good.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer. Like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. And take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next special event. It's all for you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club, an award-winning venue designed to peacefully take you away from the bustle of Silicon Valley. Go to cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
Being a Chevron car these days has been quite the adventure. Miami to Seattle, ocean to ocean. I've stopped at so many states and collected so many bumper stickers. Sometimes I feel like a moving passport book. It's just so great what I can do with Chevron with Chevron, because it gives me unbeatable mileage and keeps my engine clean. Plus, there are so many Chevrons along the way. Now the only thing I'm worried about is where to go next and where to put all my new bumper stickers. Chevron with Chevron, fueled by possibility.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Streaming from the studio, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Where is my A's historian? David Feldman. Well, hello.
Wow. Hello. How's it going?
You know, we've got our summer Link Soul outfits on. I got some palm trees going. I'm getting ready for Hawaii on Friday. He's got the summer shirt. Summertime, Feldy. Let's go. Link Soul.
Hawaii? You're going to Hawaii?
Yeah, I'm actually going to take a couple games off.
I don't like it.
I know. I'm only going to do like 154 games this year. I'm sorry.
That's weak. That's weak. I'm sorry. That's not good enough.
Ray Fosse's rolling over in his grave right now.
Possibly.
How are you?
I'm lovely. I have all the games left on my schedule because I have no other work. So I'm just here for you, Townie.
Well, we're going to be here for you, Feldy. We're here for you. Watching the Mays tribute, I thought the Giants did a great job. I thought it was beautiful to see all the Hall of Famers, all the great players. As I mentioned earlier, you know, A's were well represented when you start talking about Stu and Eck and Ricky and Reggie. the whole thing, Joe Torre showing up and all the different President Clinton was there. I mean, it was a really big deal. And obviously, Willie Mays is one of the greatest players of all time. Skill set, maybe the greatest skill set of all time. I think there'd be a debate for a few guys. Mickey Mantle would be in there, but it's pretty special. So I started thinking about it as I watched. It was day off. I watched the whole thing, and I just started thinking about Bay Area. And I wanted to take not guys who grew up in the Bay Area, like Tom Brady. He's out. You got to play for a Bay Area team. You had to play for one of our professional sports teams. I thought maybe here coming up in the near future, we could put a top 10 greatest Bay Area professional athletes. You had to play for a Bay Area team.
Well, there's so many to choose from.
Yeah. And I just went through a list. I was like, well, like you have like branches of this, right? Because you got like the coaches, managers. I mean, Bill Walsh. You're going to have John Madden. I mean, you're going to have, you think of the baseball guys, you're going to have people like Tony La Russa and Dick Williams, and you're going to have Bochy, and now you're going to have Steve Kerr. I mean, you got all these great coaches / managers that are on there. Then you got the owners types. I mean, Al Davis is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Eddie D, Joe Lacob now, Charlie Finley, Walter Haas. You got those guys. You got executives like Billy Beane and Brian Sabian. Doug Wilson had a hell of a run with the Sharks. So there's a lot of branches you could go, but the top 10 play. And then we thought Mount Rushmore. We had the same Mount Rushmore. We were like, well, I'd go Mays, I'd go Bonds, I'd go Montana, and I'd go Curry. Cody,
that's pretty good. I mean, Ricky's going to be on my Mount Rushmore no matter what. He's the greatest leadoff hitter of all time. The
only reason we kept Ricky off because so much of Ricky's career wasn't here.
Sure, but a lot of it was.
Who would you bump?
But you had Montana, Curry, Bonds, and Mays. Yeah, so Bonds would be gone for me.
Take that big head. Well, it's not big anymore, but take that big head and get out of here. Take that big head and get out of here. I like it. We just bump Barry Bonds. I love it.
Hey, that's Ricky. And yes, and Bonds, he passed him on the all-time walk list, but they're all intentional walks. They were given to him. Ricky earned every walk that he has. Still scored more runs than any other player in baseball history. No matter all the home runs that Bonds hit, Ricky scored more runs.
Well, I'll tell you what, a guy that I always love to have on there, I always love me some Rick Barry, but Steph obviously is taking that mantle.
Yeah.
But
Rick Barry.
Top 10. He's top 10.
Fantastic. And just, he was Larry Bird before Larry Bird. Curry obviously has redefined shooting and what he's done in the four banners that are hanging there. That tops everything. That doesn't happen without Steph Curry. So yeah, he's definitely has to do it. You talk about people who change the game, and Steph Curry, we've been blessed to be able to watch him, and now we're going to watch him, at least for another couple of years. And I'm excited to see what he does now because he doesn't seem to age. Yes, the shooting percentage has come down a bit, but the way he plays and the way he moves, he doesn't seem to age out there.
Could he be, and now this is high praise, could he be almost like, and I'll never say okay, do not freak out here. He'll never be this guy to what this guy is to his sport in his country. But could he be a little like Wayne Gretzky to where I knew it, my hockey. Could he be a little bit like Gretzky to where he starts putting numbers out there so far that who knows if people will ever be able to catch him like three-pointers made?
Yeah, that's where it'd be, right? The three-pointers. But he has another 2 more seasons of 300 three-pointers made. Yeah, that number is going to be way out there. But I don't put it by anybody because every kid now grows up shooting three-pointers. That's the game. It's three-pointers and layups. There is no mid-range game. We've seen that come to pass over the last 15 seasons now. So I don't put that somebody can't come up and pass Curry because someone could do what Curry does from the beginning because that's how guys play now.
Still got to make them, though. You still got to make them. It's a lot of threes.
It's a lot of threes. You got to be great. But, there might be some kid who is going to be great. We just don't know.
Can you tell Cody that Jumbo Joe and Patty Marlowe and Owen Nolan are not making this top 10 list? Can you please?
No.
What?
No.
No love for Nabokov? I mean, come on.
Does Evgeny Nabokov make it?
No.
Jeremy Roenick's going into the Hockey Hall of Fame. We're not putting him on there?
Well, good for him. Good for him. Here's the thing: what we've been so blessed.
No love for Wando?
Come on.
No Wando, no earthquakes.
And I saw most of those Wando goals, and he was fantastic. But for me, he missed a sitter in the World Cup, and I still can't get over it. So, no, Wando's off.
That's great.
But it's just for the longest time in the Bay Area, we were blessed because we had 2 Major League Baseball teams and 2 National Football League teams. So we saw double the amount of greatness in this area alone, plus the Warriors and the Sharks. So that's, again, and not to bring everybody down, but that's part of the sadness of what's happening. The Raiders leaving and the A's possibly leaving. At least the Warriors only moved across the bay and we still get to enjoy what they have. But we've been blessed for so long in this area to see double what other metropolitan areas have seen.
I'm glad you bring that up because, we don't like to talk about this a lot because we're focusing what's happening on the field. That's what we get paid to do. I know a lot of people have wanted us to go a different direction, but we stay the course. This is what we do. This is what we love to do. It's not our job to be breaking down politics and decisions and everything. But one thing I have said, and I haven't really done it on this show. I've done it mostly on the post-game show because I do have to address it when people call in. It's a live show. I have to address it. As I've said, you know what? You may not know it now, but by probably about March or April next year, you're going to realize how much smaller the Bay Area sports scene gets. When you lose an NFL team and now you lose a baseball team, everything got a lot smaller. Now you only have 1 NFL, 1 baseball, 1 basketball, 1 hockey. And the way these teams are going to protect this region, thinking that expansion is going to be coming in, the Giants would fight that. Niners obviously were like, thank God the Raiders are out of here. They will fight it. Joe Lacob will not allow another NBA team in. I mean, this is what you got. And so it's going to seem a lot smaller.
It is. I think that's a great point. It definitely will be. What's nice in the summer starting next year is you will have a WNBA team. And we know the excitement that at least this year the WNBA has brought. It is another option for the sports fan. I don't know yet how affordable an option it's going to be for fans to go to those games. We don't know that yet as affordability with the A's. That's a thing, Even the Giants are an expensive place to go spend money at, to go to a game there. It's a lot of money. The Coliseum still, you can get by cheaply there doing it the right way. And there's tickets available. It's going to get smaller and your options for going to sporting games are going to be smaller. And that's, we know there's a couple of minor league soccer teams. We know about the Ballers and we know there's other options. These aren't well-attended games with huge crowds. It's just not your everyday event that you're going to, like a baseball team, or in the case of the Raiders, a football weekend, a home football weekend. Yes, there were only 10 of them, but they were huge events, those 10. So saying that it gets smaller, I think, is a really smart way to put it.
All right. By the way, the WNBA Road Trip Mike, one of our great callers, and you guys highlight him all the time on NBC Sports California. So he's been going around the country. By the way, he has gotten into a couple towns where Caitlin Clark is playing for Indiana. He goes, my God, the parking prices go up. I mean, she is a cash cow. WNBA's hot. Do we know, is NBC going to carry the WNBA games, like either on Bay Area or California, or how that's going to work?
I don't know that if that's been announced yet. My guess is yes, that's probably what's going to happen. But it could be that they put those rights up and see if there's a local station who wants to do those games. I'm not privy to any of that, so this is just speculation on my part. But with the way the WNBA is now, I would think a Cron or maybe even KPIX, maybe they want to show these games and be in control of them. Summer programming. It's good summer programming.
No doubt about it. And like, once again, I mean, the WNBA draft smokes Sunday Night Baseball with Shohei Ohtani. I mean, Caitlin Clark, like baseball put all their eggs, and rightfully so, into the Rickwood Stadium game honoring Willie Mays in the Negro Leagues. and the WNBA and Caitlin Clark beat it in ratings. I mean, it is, and that was on Fox. That wasn't on Fox Sports or on cable. That was on Fox, and the WNBA still beat it. So it is a red-hot product. All right, let's get to our top 10 rookie A's in the All-Star game.
Yeah, so with Mason Miller being named, he is now the 8th Athletics rookie to be Oakland Athletics rookie to be named to the All-Star team. We thought it'd be fun to look back at the previous 7 and just take a look at the 7 Oakland A's rookies to be named to the All-Star team.
So it's like a shortened game. We're going to go
Well,
into
short
7
game.
innings. Yeah, okay, I'm good with that.
So let's start in 1977. The A's have been now dismantled, right? Everybody left after the 76 season. The only one left is Vida Blue. And Vida Blue, who's pitching every 4th day and sometimes even on 2 days rest, pitching every 3rd day, is named to the All-Star team. Vida at the breaks 8-11 with a 3.85. He's got 10 complete games. But again, he's pitching every 4th day. He's tired. And so he begs off. I think looking back at newspaper articles, it seemed like he begged off like the Sunday before the All-Star game. And the 77 All-Star game is going to be at Yankee Stadium. It's the first time back in New York since 1964 when it was at Shea Stadium. So this is big. This is Yankee Stadium. Billy Martin's the A's AL manager. And to replace Vida Blue on the roster, because again, during those, and still now, is every team needs to be represented. But they did a really good job of, even when guys got begged off, if that was the only team's representative, they tried to replace him with another member of that team. And they had 2 choices, 2 A's rookie choices. One was Mitchell Page, who at the breaks hitting 308 with 20 doubles, and he's 24 for 24 in steals. Should have been an all-star. They don't take Mitchell Page. Again, Mitchell Page gets screwed. They take Wayne Gross.
God, Mitchell Page had those numbers right now. My God.
Yeah. They take Wayne Gross. Now, Wayne Gross has 15 home runs at the break, which is a nice big number. 15 homers, 15 doubles. He's only hitting 235, and he's not stealing any bases. Again, Page gets screwed. Wayne Gross gets named to the All-Star. You imagine Wayne Gross walking into the AL clubhouse, Billy Martin, Jim Palmer, all the greats are there, Reggie Jackson, and they're like, who is this? You think Billy Martin had any idea who Wayne Gross is?
Who?
Exactly. They have no clue who this guy is. Games at Yankee Stadium. The National League wins 7-5. Joe Morgan leads off the game with a home run off Jim Palmer. Don Sutton is going to be the MVP with 3 shutout innings. Yes, he goes 3. Most pitchers went 3 in the All-Star game. And our boy Wayne Gross did not get in the game because, again, Billy Martin had no idea who this guy was.
Yeah. All right. But you get in, right? That's not. There's been plenty of rookies where you go, how did that guy get in? Well, he got in.
He's an all-star. It's always there, right? He's an all-star. And just to put a button on him.
Wikipedia, it will always be there. What do you got, number 6?
So our next guy is the next year. It's 1978. Once again, Mitchell Page should have been considered. Hit 285 at the break with an 826 OPS. But instead, they're going to go with the rookie pitcher, Matt Keogh.
Wow.
And there's a reason that they went with Matt Keogh, and it's a legitimate one. At the break in 1978, Ron Guidry, who's all-world, has a 1.99 ERA on his way to the Cy Young. But second in the ERA is Matt Keogh at 2.16. So legitimate. The All-Star game that year is in San Diego. A young Chris Townsend. Maybe you were excited about it. I don't know.
What year?
78.
Yeah, no. Still too early. Still too early.
Still too early.
Still
right,
too
early. It's in San Diego. Jim Palmer starts again for the AL. He's got a 3-0 lead in the 3rd inning, but with 2 outs, he walks Greg Luzinski with the bases loaded, and then allows it. The Bull.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players. You talk about Miller time and Mason Miller. Greg Luzinski has some of the greatest Miller Lite commercials of all time.
Oh, great ones. Oh, yeah. Greg Luzinski. He walks, and Jim Palmer, of course, never gave up a grand slam in his career. He walks Greg Luzinski with the bases loaded, then allows a 2-run single to Steve Garvey, America's dad. Tie game. Matt Keogh comes in the third inning, relieves Jim Palmer with runners on first and second, allows an infield single to future Hall of Famer Ted Simmons to load the bases, but then he gets Rick Monday to fly out to end the inning. And that's it for Matt Keogh. Roy Howell pinch hits for him in the top of the fourth. Third of an inning for Matt Keogh. National League will go on, win the game. They score 4 times in the bottom of the eighth off Goose Gossage. Garvey's the MVP. Keogh returns to the A's and has a brutal second half. He goes 2-11 with a 4.44 ERA. Brutal. Now, the brutality continues into 1979 for Matt Keogh. In a 34-start stretch from August of 78 to August of 79, he goes 1-22. 5.25 ERA. Opponents are hitting 311. Just awful. 1-22 over 34 starts. Things change now. Billy Martin gets named as the manager. Art Fowler is the pitching coach. They might teach Matt Keogh a new pitch. It may be illegal. It's debatable. And in 1980, Matt Keogh goes 16-13 with a 2.92 comeback player of the year. Matt Keogh, that's a pretty good bounce back season.
You put snot on the ball, Vagisil. Who's testing? By the way, what was I doing in 1978? Why wasn't I at that game? All right.
Why?
I was 4, 5? I was 5. Yeah, I don't even remember it, actually. All right, we are at number 5.
All right, this is Jose Canseco in 1986.
This is the Jose Canseco Rookie of the Year bobblehead right here we got on the old table. I can't wait.
That's nice.
And do not forget, July 20th, we're going to have the Jose Canseco bobblehead. Take that for Vittorio DiBartolo. July 20th, come out and get it. And it's an awesome, the new Jose, but this is the Rookie of the Year bobblehead.
Yeah, the new one's great because it's got him hitting and sliding. It's very cool. 86, Jose, he came up at the end of 85, had a great 85 in the minors where he had 127 RBIs, 36 homers, and only 118 games in the minors. 127 RBI in 118 games. That's pretty good. Got called up in September of 85, hit 5 home runs then. So the A's knew they had something. And before the All-Star break, just ridiculoly good. 274, 23 homers, 78 runs batted in. Led the majors in homers and RBIs at the break. And is named the All-Star. Not voted in, which is surprising because of the year he had. But remember, that was all fan at the ballpark voting. That's when they had the ballots with the hanging chads that you would, punch out. And you really could only get them at the ballpark.
You mean when we were kids and we would grab a stack and for 9 innings, we voted for our favorite players over and over and over and over again? The good old days.
It was the greatest, right? And, but if you were at a team that didn't have fantastic attendance, well, your guys weren't going to get in. And in this case, the outfield was Ricky representing the Yankees, Kirby Puckett representing the Twins, and Dave Winfield also with the Yankees. So it was hard for Jose to break in. So Jose is on the team, though. Again, this game's in Houston. He does not get to play.
What?
They don't find a spot for Jose. The rookie sensation. This is Dick Hauser's the manager. He won the year before with the Royals. He replaces Ricky with Lloyd Mosby. He replaced Kirby. Kirby didn't get replaced, actually. Kirby played the whole game. Dave Winfield got replaced by Jesse Barfield. And then the only 2 pinch hit at bats were Jim Rice and Harold Baines. No Jose.
Veterans. Once again, baseball not promoting the future.
No, not at all. Just missing. Everybody went to see Jose. And you don't get to see it. Now, Jose, the second half of the year, doesn't go as well as the first half. He actually goes 0 for 40 during the month of August. He has an 0 for 40 stretch, which is still the longest hitless streak in Oakland history. But finishes the year with 33 home runs, 117 RBIs, wins Rookie of the Year. And for his career, he's a 6-time All-Star. But he only plays in 2 All-Star games, in 88 and 90. And he went 0 for 4 in each of those games.
Was the one in 90 in Chicago?
90 was Chicago, a big A's representative with Welch and McGuire and Jose, and it rained. It ended up being a 2-0 game. But Jose stayed in that game, only went 0 for 4.
I tell people all the time, and I say it, I know all the bad rap and everything because, you know, my era of high school baseball players, Jose Canseco was the biggest star. You loved Jose Canseco. And I said, Jose was such a big star. At Wrigley Field, people were hanging outside of the buildings with signs, "Hit it here, Jose." Yeah. He was the biggest star at the All-Star game. I mean, you try and, I mean, and I'm glad we're honoring him. I'm glad he's going into the A's Hall of Fame because he was a great player and he deserves it. All right, number 4.
Mark McGuire in 1987. You know, he actually starts the season as a platoon first baseman with Rob Nelson. He even plays some starts at third base. He even started some games in right field.
Ooh.
And finally, we realize, Tony La Russa and the Brain Trust, that this is our everyday first baseman. And starting in early May, he is the everyday first baseman. He has 33 home runs at the All-Star break. At the time, tied for the third most all time. Only Reggie with 37 in '69 and Frank Howard with 34 and '69 had more. It was the same number that Roger Maris had at the All-Star break in 1961. And the All-Star game in 1987 is at the Oakland Coliseum. So Mark didn't get voted in, finished second to Don Mattingly, but definitely named to the team. This was the 0-0 game. Ricky enters the game. I actually replaced Ricky in the batting order. First at bat in the bottom of the 7th, it's a fly to deep right. I was there at this game. I remember when he hit it. I thought it had a chance that it was going to go off Rick Russell, but it gets caught at the wall. Comes up again in the 10th. Lee Smith strikes him out. Comes up again in the 12th. Lee Smith still in the game. His third inning of work gets him to ground out. National League ends up winning on the Tim Raines 2-run triple off Jay Howe. But McGuire goes on to win the Rookie of the Year with 49 home runs, which was then the rookie record, 118 RBIs. And for his career, 12-time All-Star. Played 9 All-Star games, played 9 times. Only went 4 for 20 with 4 singles. But that 87 year, magical.
Lee Smith went 3 innings, Hall of Fame reliever in the All-Star game. 3 innings.
Closer.
I mean, we can't get anybody to pitch these days. Everybody all of a sudden starts pitching on Sunday. Oh, I can't go in the game.
Crazy, right? Crazy.
Number 3.
1998, Ben Grieve. And I still think, and we talked about this once before, guys who get a bad rap with the A's, and Ben Grieve's on that list. This was the Rookie of the Year in 1998. And a great pre-All-Star game, hit .311 going into that break with 12 homers and 55 runs batted in. And now, yes, offense was off the chart in 98. This was the McGuire Sosa year, home runs. At the All-Star break, Juan Gonzalez had 101 RBIs. At the All-Star break, 101. So offense off the chart. This All-Star game's at Coors Field. Art Howe is also a coach for Mike Hargrove's American League team. The AL would win 13-8. Ben Grieve gets in the game. He pinch hits for Brad Radke in the 5th inning and draws a walk off Andy Ashby. Grieve would win Rookie of the Year, 288, 18 homers. You look at his 1999, 28 homers, 86 runs batted in. His 2000, 27 homers, 104 RBIs, 40 doubles. This was a very good offensive player. We know that he struggled in the outfield. He had a bad arm. He had a tendency to hit into a lot of double plays, but he also produced a lot of offense. Gets a bad rap. He deserved to be an All-Star in 98. He deserves better thinking when he comes back to Oakland history. People should think better of Ben Grieve.
When it was the early part of my KMBR career, I covered the Rookie of the Year luncheon for Ben across from the Italian in North Beach, across from the park was that famous Italian restaurant. Can't remember the name of it. And then after that, it became like Joe DiMaggio's house. But I'll never forget that. Kim Priest, Back then we had pagers. I got paged by Ken Priest. And I'll never forget that and thinking that this guy's going to be a star. This guy's going to be an absolute star.
Yeah. Fiore d'Italia, was that what it was? Fiore d'Italia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good knowledge. Very good knowledge. All right, number 2.
Number 2, 2009 now. It's Andrew Bailey. And this one kind of came out of nowhere, right?
Damn.
Boom, boom. The A's needed a closer in 2009. They had traded Houston Street. So Brad Ziegler starts the year as the closer. But Bailey made the team. He was a good minor league pitcher. He was a starter for most of his minor league career. But now he's a reliever, and he takes the closer role by the end of May. It's his job. He's got 10 saves at the All-Star break with a 1.92 ERA. Deserve it. Did not pitch in the game. Again, he was one of 4 AL pitchers who didn't get in, along with 3 starters, Josh Beckett, Justin Verlander, Tim Wakefield. The 3 closers who were used in the game were Jonathan Papelbon, Joe Nathan, and Mariano Rivera. But Bailey deserved it. Again, one of those players who came out of nowhere, right? He makes the team out of spring training, but establishes himself, and he's the closer, and he's a very good closer, wins the AL Rookie of the Year with 26 saves. He's an all-star again in 2010. Until the A's traded him to the Red Sox for the 2012 season, just a very strong A's closer.
And went from Double-A to the big leagues.
Yeah, this was a guy who was a starter, and they finally used him as a reliever. And then it was 2008. It was in the Arizona Fall League, where that was when they decided we're making you a full-time reliever. And in that Fall League, he just put up incredible numbers in his 10 appearances, and the A's said, yeah, he's going to make the team with us.
And now a very well-established pitching coach. A lot of respect for him in the game, and we had him on, obviously, with the Red Sox. We'll see him tonight at Fenway Park, but we have him on every single year, and it was great because we had him on because Scott Emerson was his pitching coach down in Double-A, and we had him on back-to-back, and they got to talk, and obviously a great relationship there. So he's turned out to have a hell of a career as a pitching coach. All right, you're number 1.
All right, our last A's Rookie of the Year, and we talk about somebody coming out of nowhere. This is 2012, the magical year of 2012, is Ryan Cook.
Cookie.
This is the A's acquired Cook from the Diamondbacks with Jared Parker, Colin Cowgill. This was the Trevor Cahill, Craig Breslow trade. Again, this A's bullpen's in flux. The season starts. Grant Balfour is the closer, and then Brian Fuente is the closer. But Ryan Cook gets off to this unbelievable start as just a middle reliever. He's unscored upon in his first 21 games. In his first 23 innings, he only allows 4 hits. This guy, he's unhittable. And he takes over the closer role. At the break, he's got a 1.41 ERA. He's got 8 saves. He's got a 105 opponent average. He's unhittable. And the A's at that All-Star break, there's really not another option. Josh Reddick has 20 home runs, so he was thought of, but it's a pretty stacked outfield. Maybe Tommy Malone. He's one of the better pitchers at 8-6, but with that beginning of this year for Ryan Cook and that unhittability, he's going to be an all-star. And he pitches in Kansas City. He actually gets in the game. He strikes out Bryce Harper. He gets Carlos Ruiz to fly out. And then he strikes out David Wright, a 1-2-3 inning. Finishes the year with 14 saves. But again, the bullpen changed over. Balfour takes hold of that. And this is a very strong back end of the bullpen in 2012 with Ryan Cook, Sean Doolittle, and Grant Balfour. And it's a big reason why the A's win the division. Another reason is the guy who finishes second in the Rookie of the Year is Yoenis Cespedes, right? But Cespedes didn't get off to that great of a start where he was in this all-star conversation. He could have been a rookie all-star. But obviously we know how Cespedes closed. Ryan Cook was very good again in the setup role in 13 and 14, but then some arm injuries, finally traded to the Red Sox. But just kind of the most unheralded of all the rookie all-stars, maybe outside of Wayne Gross, is Ryan Cook.
June 2nd that year. June 2nd's the date. After that, the A's had the best record in baseball. They hit the most home runs. They'd sweep the Yankees at home. Really, I mean, it was just such a magical ride. I'll never forget Ryan Cook and his girlfriend on the plane on the way to Japan.
Really?
And that's all I'll say about 2012 and Ryan Cook.
You know, I was on that flight. What was I doing? I might have been sleeping.
It might have been boarding the flight. Before the flight, boarding the flight.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, someday I gotta be in the loop on this. I gotta hear this.
Those are great trips. I mean, the Japan trips have been great. Like, I'm in. Like, if they ever say, "Hey, we're gonna go to Australia. Hey, we're gonna go to Korea," like, all right, those trips. Like, you try and tell the fans, like, Major League Baseball does a great job. The sightseeing, everything you get to see, it's for all the families and everything. It's really special. And the A's, that's one thing that, Billy Beane, we didn't have this going at the time, but that was one thing that we always did on 95.7 The Game with Billy, was talk about, he always signed up for this saying, I think it's great for our players, for them to get, the education of going to a foreign country. And it's good for, like Billy brought his oldest daughter, and people would they'd bring kids and stuff. Like, he just always thought it was just great for the organization to take advantage of something like this, to where other organizations want no part of it. The A's have always been all in, we'll go.
Yeah. And the teams that do go, when they come back, they all say the same thing. What a fantastic time it is.
Mm-hmm.
Forget just the team building, which it is, because you're all going through this experience together, but just being in this foreign land and experiencing this different culture. And like you said, Major League Baseball does a great job of getting everybody involved. And you're not just, it is baseball. These are regular season games. They do count, but they're also giving you other activities to learn about the area and learn about what's going on. And it's a fantastic experience. I've been blessed to go 3 times with the A's and once with the World Baseball Classic in Japan. I feel I know my way around. I feel like I can get on the subway there and not get lost and find my way. And it's fantastic. They're going to have Japan games again next year. I know the A's are not involved in that one, but it's something that's coming, right? There's going to be more international baseball. And I'm with you. Anytime you get a chance to do it, if you're that team, you should take that chance.
Are you working the game today?
I am in the San Francisco studios to work this ball game.
Any special notes for the game you want to pass on?
I just saw that for the Red Sox. They're much more athletic than they've ever been.
Oh, they're still off the charts for the Red Sox.
Off the charts. And we saw that when they were in Oakland, right? The second series of the year went, who are these guys? These guys are flying around. Duran, who's an all-star. But Rafael Sedan, when he steals a base, the Red Sox are 11-0. So write that down.
I like it. By the way, everybody needs to know that when can I pull the curtain back?
Pull it back.
All right. When people like Jenny and Chris Carey and Dallas Braden come up with these like certain things, and people go, "Oh, that's a really," can you just tell everybody it's coming from you?
Sometimes it's something that I've looked up or I've thought about, and they're kind enough to use it on the air. There's so much stats in baseball, right? So I don't look for stats as much as stuff that can tell a story and history and things to put things together that are interesting. And again, we've been blessed with great broadcasters, radio side, TV side, and they've been very welcoming to me and the information that I can give them.
How many nuggets have you given Greg Papa over the years?
Woo-hoo! Yeah, there's been a lot of nuggets, and it's still now. It's great. Greg will still text me. Something will come up, and he'll say, "What do you think? Who was the last? Who was this? What was that?" And I love it. It's fun. I feel still involved with it. And Greg always asks some wild, wacky questions, and it's fantastic.
All right, buddy. Great stuff. Have a good game tonight.
All right. Thanks, Townie. Enjoy.
David Feldman, our A's historian, of course, all the work that he does with all the various things that he does, working there for NBC for all these years with the Pac-12 network when he was talking about, things going on, no longer a Pac-12 network, but did Earthquakes games for years. I mean, he's been, was Greg Papa's right-hand man for a lot of broadcasts around Warriors, around A's. So, a wealth of knowledge. We love to bring him on. There's your top 7 A's to be. Mason Miller now on that list. He'll make it 8 once he participates in the All-Star game. Do not forget, Mason Miller will be here tomorrow, A's Cast Live, to talk about getting in to the All-Star game. Kind of we knew he would get in. It's good for baseball. Let's hope Brent Rooker gets in. The numbers for Brent Rooker are just off the charts this year. I mean, Rook's hitting 400, 5 home runs, 10 RBIs the last 11 games. He's been great. A's have won 4 of their last 6. This is, a tale of the tape. These are 2 teams that are actually hot. I mean, for the A's, I'm not going to go crazy, but it is hot for the A's winning 4 of their last 6. Red Sox have now won 16 of their last 22, dating back to June 12th. And would you be shocked if I told you that's the best record in baseball during that span? And that's not what you would call a small sample size.
No, because like the 2 hottest teams, like if you look at the American League and National League, I think since that time are the Red Sox and then the Cardinals. And the Cardinals were not expected to be, team contending, and here they are. I think they're 4.5 out of first.
Excuse me?
In the Central.
You want to take that back?
Well, I mean, I know you didn't pick them at the beginning of the year to win the division.
I just gave a hot take about them being
you
in.
You were all in on the Cubs and Council and Belly.
Do we not have a segment called Hot Takes?
Yeah, you do have the Cardinals take, yes.
And didn't I say the Cardinals are going to win this division?
Yes. You double down on the Brewers.
Are you bypassing that I did that on this show live on the air?
No. I mean,
you said nobody. What are you talking about?
It took a lot of guts to do that when the Cardinals got hot.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait till my hot take today. You want saucy? I got saucy for you.
I still need Brent Rooker to get into the home run derby. It's all. I mean, I want Brent to be in the All-Star game, obviously, but I want him to be in the home run derby because in that way I can have a. Well, I said he get in and win, so he needs to win too. Because our good friend Jose Ramirez is the newest participant. So there's I think 3 spots left, if I'm not mistaken. Because Bobby Wood Jr. was announced yesterday, Alec Boehm, Gunnar Henderson, and the Polar Bear and Marcell Ozuna. So there's 2 spots left. It sounds like for the Derby.
Great,
Jose. I'm not picking him to win. If Brent Rooker doesn't get in, he's not my pick.
Just doesn't do it for me anymore. I'm one of those people.
And they changed the format again. I have to look at how the format works.
If this doesn't shock you, and it's really shame on us, the Boston Red Sox, who've always been known as going back, that's their DNA. It's home runs. Playing that ballpark, hit home runs. The Boston Red Sox have 87 stolen bases. We have 47. That's just, come on. How is it possible the Boston Red Sox have 40 more stolen bases than the Oakland A's?
Well, I mean,
that's a travesty.
I mean, one thing you could point at is, the guy that stole how many bags? He stole 67 stolen bases last year is not played. Although apparently he's doing a rehab tonight in Stockton. The reports tweeted that out. Him, Blackburn, and Stripling are all in Stockton. But yeah, that's one thing. But they got, Rafael has been good. Duran's been great. He's an all-star. They've had some guys step up for him. It hasn't just been Rafael Devers who killed the Yankees over the weekend.
This is what happened to us. They changed the rules, time to get more athletic, steal more bases, and we went, no, we're just going to hit solo home runs.
Actually, who leads our team in steals? Is it Geloff?
Don't even know. It's going to be a small amount. We only have 47.
Our team leader is Zach Geloff at 11.
We have 47 stolen bases.
SC has 5, and he hasn't played in how many months?
That's just terrible. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
Well, I mean, they're not as bad as the Giants, who are dead last, but.
And something to watch that has been the huge difference for us when it comes to the road versus home. We've given it 58 road home runs this year. Keep the ball in the ballpark. We got to get to Joey Estes. I got some numbers on Joey Estes, but it's Miller time. Dennis Eckersley is going to be here at 2:30 at the bottom of the hour. Let's play, because I saw a clip, but I haven't seen the whole thing. So we have the whole thing of Mark Kotze announcing to the clubhouse that Mason Miller is this courtesy NBC Sports California?
No, it's courtesy of our video team. That's a Vittorio DeBartolos team.
The great Raider Vito?
Yeah, his team sent me this video. It's a minute long from, obviously edited down, but a minute long of Kotz telling Miller and presenting him and, everything like that. So it's pretty cool.
All right, here you go. Mark Kotze, and this means a lot to Kotz. When he does this, for him saying he's emotional, that means he's really emotional. Kotz is not going to break down and cry. It's not the kind of guy he is, but he doesn't get emotional a lot. But during these times, it means a lot to him. Here is the skipper, Mark Kotze, announcing, Mason Miller, you're our all-star.
Special day. We all work our asses off to get here, to be big leaguers. With the pursuit of obviously being an all-star, being a world champion, we want to celebrate that person or persons because it's an honor. It's an honor. Very few times when I get a little bit more emotional, and today's one of them. It gives me great honor to tell you all that Mason Miller is our all-star this year.
Thank you, everybody. It's through the highs and lows that we go through. It's exciting and an honor to represent all of us. It's my pleasure to represent you guys, and really appreciate it.
So there you go.
Special. And that speech by Mason Miller tells you everything you need to know about Mason Miller. He is not a super excitable guy. And that's why that's the demeanor you want as a closer. Like the moment is not going to be too big. That's just, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. The highs and lows that we go through and everything we do as a team. And I can't wait to represent you in the All-Star game.
Very presidential.
Yes. There you go. We're going to say it. We got to say that. Mason Miller, once again, on the program tomorrow here. A's Cast Live will start at 1 o'clock. We're going to say you're very presidential. The bombs are going off, but yet you can give the speech and everything's, I'm going to tell you, the American people, what is happening.
It's a great honor to represent this organization and this clubhouse at the All-Star game.
I am the leader of the free world. I am one of the most important human beings, if not the most important human being on this planet. And I like the fact that I represent you. Even if you didn't vote for me.
Speaking of presidential, real quick, I meant to bring something when you were talking about the Willie Mays tribute yesterday, Oracle Park. There was a video from President Barack Obama, and he talked about Air Force One. He goes, usually on Air Force One, I'm the most popular guy, but when Willie Mays was on it, I was the second most popular guy.
Yeah, when you've got two ex-presidents, one shows up, one cuts the video for your wake, you're kind of a big deal. I mean, Bill Clinton was there. President Clinton, that's a big deal. Because I was thinking about it, because, people always don't think about this stuff, but when an ex-president shows up, that's still Secret Service everywhere. That's still a whole different deal. So it was really, we talked a lot about it. If you're just joining us, we talked about what a special day it was to see all the dignitaries, A's well represented with, Dennis Eckersley and Dave Stewart and Ricky Anderson and Reggie Jackson and John Miller obviously did play-by-play for the A's at one point. So he definitely played it up. And I thought the whole thing was absolutely beautiful. Giants did a great job. And I love how at the very end, they let all the kids come onto the field and play. And because Willie Mays loved kids. This is a guy, a big leaguer, who would play stickball in the streets of New York with the kids and then buy him ice cream. It's the kind of guy Willie Mays was. Even though how big a star he was always cared about the kids. And there were so many stories about how generous Willie Mays was. And it didn't matter what you needed. You need time, you need help, you need money, you need equipment. What do you need? Willie Mays was there for you. But that's what the game was back then. He took care of people. The stars took care of people. The good guys took care of people. They used their stardom to help people. They helped you. Guys like Willie McCovey and Orlando Cepeda, and they'd come out. Orlando Cepeda came up and didn't know how to play the outfield. And Willie Mays is like, go over there. He positioned everybody. He was like a coach on the field, right? Felipe Alou talked about he played center field his entire life, and all of a sudden he comes to San Francisco. Well, you're not playing center field. So he's got to play left or right, and Willie Mays would teach him. Willie Mays was like a coach on the field. Like, he was the analytics. He knew all the hitters. Hey, this guy hits it here. This guy hits it there. I mean, and Willie Mays played every game. I mean, we were like, hey, but Mike Trout took batting practice yesterday. Anthony Rendon finally made it back.
Played his 220th game out of 630.
1 for 4.
You're bearing the lead. He was hitting leadoff.
Willie Mays averaged 154 games a year.
That's back when they played 154 games a year, pretty much.
I mean, go
when
back.
They changed the schedule,
and look at the all-time grades. They played. You know, when people like to poo-poo the numbers. You know, you're not going to hear it. Are you going to go out on a limb right now and say Willie Mays didn't hit against that velocity you like to talk about, or the spin, the pitch shaping? You want to take away from Willie Mays' career? Right. Let everybody get ready. You can cut this up and put it on Twitter. Willie Mays couldn't play today. Go ahead and say it. Huh, Mr. Analytics?
I'm not in that camp that I've never once shortchanged the older generation guys.
But he didn't face all the pitchers, Dallas Braden.
That was the thing that they did today, or maybe it was yesterday. I saw the clip on Twitter of Mad Dog and Brian Kenny talking about, you know, how can you make the game better with pitching? And they talked about how Aaron Judge has only faced a pitcher the 4th time through 18 times in his career, and Mike Petriello went back and looked at Willie Mays and Babe Ruth and Ted Williams, and Mad Dog's like, you looked at the 4 of the greatest hitters of all time, looked at what they did. Yeah, but those guys, they put up great numbers. I mean, who they saw. They didn't have 1,000 pitchers that came in. Those were the guys they saw, and they mashed off of them. Like, that was like, I didn't like that argument that Petriello was making, that the older time guys face these guys all the time 4 times through. Yes, because there wasn't 1,000 relievers, and we're at 709 pitchers used already this year. We passed 700.
Oh my God, are we really?
Yeah,
709.
That's entering today. 709.
Yeah, and that goes back to kind of the point that we're not the smartest guys in the room, but we're making a very good point here. The ERA for the league is at 4.
404 now.
404. I'll write that down. So it's not like these guys. This is my thought process. We're training hitters. Eric Burns just did a whole crazy thing. When are we going to get Eric Burns on? Burnsy.
It's incredibly hard to track him down.
It's incredibly hard. He is a ball of fire. But Eric Burns is doing a whole thing about the uppercut, right? The launch. The reality is, if you really broke it down, that we are using more pitchers than ever before, so we're throwing a mass variety at guys, and the way we train the hitters to be all or nothing. Those are really the 2 things. Stop telling me about velocity. Stop telling me about pitch shaping. Stop, because the reality is the league ERA is 404. Now, if the league ERA was under 3, then I'd be saying, no doubt, pitching's way better than it's ever been.
Well, that was 1968 when it was 298.
I'm just saying, if the pitching was better, the numbers would be better for the pitchers. Pitchers' numbers aren't great. What it is, as you said, 709 guys have been used. Last year, 863. We're throwing a mass volume of guys at hitters. And that, as we all know, that works because they haven't seen it. For the most part, the numbers still aren't great. The league ERA is 404. That's not great.
League batting average is 242, and we still have more strikeouts than hits.
A lot of this is the way the hitters are trained today. What we want them to do. Everything's got to be hit as hard as you can and hit as far as you can. That's where the game is now. So, but to say pitchers are better, and the thing is, like for Mike Petriello, I mean, is he just going to admit what I just said? It's just a volume of pitchers. And by the way, just a volume of pitchers is horrible entertainment. So it's like, I'm going to be right by telling you, well, see, he can't tell you the pitching's better because look at the numbers. Can we honestly say pitching's better purely by the numbers? Don't look at StatCast. Look at numbers.
Do you want the starters and relievers ERA on the year too? Starters ERA is 409. Relievers is 399.
So how is that so great?
Yeah, it's really not.
It's not. So Mike Petriello trying to be the smart guy going, well, they didn't face it. Okay, so you've made our game. You haven't made the pitching all that better. You're saying it's harder to hit. Really, it's the way the guys are trained. But no matter what it is, you've made the game less entertaining. So congratulations. Congratulations. You've used 709 pitchers this year in Major League Baseball. If pitching's so great, you wouldn't have to use 709 guys. That's another argument.
Hell, the Brewers have used 15 different starting pitchers already.
If pitching was so great, why would the Brewers have to use 15 guys? Why would there have to be 709 pitchers if pitching is so great? You wouldn't need that many guys. I wish somebody would, if we next time we get Petrarello on, explain that to me. They won't, because they've got a narrative now. And remember, these guys have a narrative. They write articles. They use certain numbers that help their articles. And it's about people clicking on to MLB.com and clicking on their articles. That's what it's all about. That's the media game that we have. Like, no, when's the article going? It's boring as hell to have a game with 5 relievers in it. It's boring, bad for the product. Less stars. We're making less star pitchers. And anytime you make less stars for the entertainment business, if we have less stars as lead singers in bands, not good. Less stars in sports, not good. You want to have no stars in a movie?
It doesn't very rarely work out well. There's been a few times.
I mean,
there's outliers, but
where does less stars work on a consistent basis? It doesn't. But Mason Miller has, as we said, 278 pitches at 100 plus. Good for baseball to have him in there, right? Good for baseball because he's been like the shiny toy that everybody in the game knows about. They can't wait to see. Like, this guy just brings it. He just brings it. He's like a human highlight. Now, I will give you this. He has allowed 11 runs, 8 earned in his last 17 and a third. That's a 4.15 ERA. So he's not perfect, but he's fun as hell to watch. It's fun to watch where you're like, you know it's coming. Good luck. I mean, that's like Nolan Ryan was as a starter. Good luck. It's incredible.
You know it's coming and you still can hit it.
That's the whole thing. It's like, you can know it's coming. What is it? You know, when we talk about stealing signs, right? Now, stealing signs with your eyes, like watching people who are, coaches are given certain signs and let's say the indicator's the chin, right? So basically what an indicator is when you're giving signs, you're giving signs, you're doing all this stuff. Basically, I used to try and steal signs. Pitchers, now they have people in the stands who do it. Allegedly. But back in our day, like pitchers who weren't pitching, you just sit there and you'd watch the coach. A lot of the coaches did it at third base, or you'd watch the pitching coach. You probably saw this in college baseball, the way they did the cross. You try to figure out what's the indicator, because anything after the indicator would be the sign. So they're going to go to all these different parts of the body, right? Go to the ear, go to the nose, go to the chin, go to the wrist, go to the elbow. And then you got to figure, once you figure out what the indicator is, then whatever it is after. So let's say the indicator is the chin, right? And I'm going through my signs. And I go indicator wrist. And then they bunt. Okay, I might have something. So I'm watching them again. And then that guy gets on first. And it goes all through his signs. And then he goes to the chin, to the ear, and the guy steals. Well, I might say, I might have the indicator. Indicator's the chin. And every single time he goes to the chin and he goes to something else, that's the sign now. And remember, you're doing it for a 3-game series. So you're trying to get this on for college baseball. We're trying to get it for Friday night. We want to really be able to get it for Saturday and Sunday, right? So you want to perfect it before you go to the coach and say, hey, I think I got it. So when he goes to the chin, when he goes to the wrist, it's bunt. When he goes to the ear, it's steal. That's okay. You're using your eyes. It's when you start using phones, iPads, cameras, and all that kind of stuff. That's when that's dirty pool. Bill Belichick filming practices. Because that's awful. That is absolutely 100% awful. That type of stealing is terrible. But, Nolan Ryan struck out how many guys?
5,000 something.
Now, how many of those were on fastballs? The majority?
Probably.
So you knew what was coming. Give me his total.
I don't want to shortchange him in his 5,714 strikeouts.
5,704. Jesus. Nobody's touching that. Even in an era where guys strike out a lot. That's a record no one's touching.
Well, because he threw in 5,386 innings, no one's coming close to that.
5,714 strikeouts. The majority were fastballs. Everybody knew it was coming. They still couldn't hit it. So what does it matter if you know? You didn't know Nolan Ryan was throwing a fastball?
No, because you knew he was.
You knew he was. You didn't wait for the curveball. Later on in his career, the changeup kind of came in, but you knew you were geared up fastball every single at bat.
But same thing with, I'm not saying it's same thing with Mason every time, but it's fastball, slider.
But you can't gear up for the slider because you're dead. It's like Nolan Ryan, 5,714 strikeouts. You had to lead looking fastball. You knew fastball was coming. Ryan knew fastball was coming. The catcher knew it. Everybody in the stands knew fastball was coming. And he struck out 5,714 guys. Like Mason Miller, you know it's coming. Now, if he throws you a slider, you're screwed. But you got to gear up fastball. So Mason Miller could go Trevor Bauer and be like, fastball. I love it when Trevor Bauer does that. Who did he do it to recently in the Mexican League?
It was Luke Voit.
Luke Voit. He's out. He's mic'd up. Trevor Bauer's mic'd up. And he's telling him, fastball. Trevor Bauer's telling you. That's how hard it is to hit. You can be told what it is.
I remember Greinke did it to the A's in the playoffs in 2020 at Dodger Stadium when he was with the Astros. He was going he would look and he'd go like number 2 or whatever to Maldonado, and he'd throw it, and guys still couldn't hit it. Greinke did it that whole year, and then you could hear him grunting throughout the whole stadium because there was no one there but cardboard cutouts. But yeah, it's always interesting when you know it's coming and guys still know how to attack it.
Let's talk to a Hall of Famer. You want a career? How about this career? World Series champion, American League MVP, American League Cy Young Award winner, 6-time All-Star, ALCS MVP, 2-time AL Rolaids Relief Man of the Year, 2-time MLB saves leader, pitched a no-hitter to Ray Fosse in 1977 with the Indians. His number 43 is retired with the A's. He's in the A's Hall of Fame. He's in the Red Sox Hall of Fame. And he's in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, inducted in 2004. Grew up in the Bay Area. So he grew up a Giants fan because remember the A's didn't come till he was a kid. He was already, what did he say he was, like 14 when the A's came? Yeah. So you look at Dennis Eckersley's career, you're talking about a guy who won 20 games. Did he ever win 20 games? He won 20 games in 1978. He was 20-8 with Boston. So Dennis Eckersley, at the time, when you're talking about 100 wins as a starter and 300 saves as a closer, it just showed he was one of the greatest pitchers of all time. He had 197 wins. I mean, it's amazing. Remember, he didn't start closing until he was, 32?
Yeah, he was later in his career, of course, yeah.
I mean, he won, he won 13 games. Now, everybody's ERA was a lot lower then, but, his first year was 13-7 with a 2.60 ERA in Cleveland. He won 13, 14, 20, 17, 12. I mean, this guy just constantly won games as a starter. He's throwing, Eck back then throwing 247 in the third innings, 268 in a third, 246 and 2/3. I mean, he's an innings eater. He's a starter. He looks like going to be a future star. Had issues off the field, started to derail his career, fix those issues. And he'll talk a little bit about addiction, and he'll joke a little bit about addiction in the interview. And then he comes to the A's and becomes one of the great closers of all time, Tony La Russa. And, Eck's going to talk about it. I got a chance to sit down, and every single time, because Eck's one of my favorites, because, once again, this A's team, when I was in high school, they were the best team in baseball, right? So you're like a kid when you get to sit down with a Dennis Eckersley. It's like, whenever I get to do TV with Stu, it's such an honor because these were my stars and my formative years in baseball in high school. And Dennis Eckersley is just the coolest guy. And he was there on Sunday, Alumni Sundays. It was Raleigh the bobblehead's right here. We got the new bobblehead on the desk. We'll keep it here. We got the old Raleigh bobblehead here, but we got the new one here. Raleigh Fingers, truly one of the greatest pitchers of all time also. And on Sunday, it was just historic because we had Raleigh Fingers, Dennis Eckersley, and Jim Palmer all at the ballpark. Saturday was everybody sat and watched. It was Palmer and Eckersley having a conversation on the field. I mean, these are three of the greatest pitchers of all time were at the ballpark on Sunday. Super cool. But here's my conversation on Sunday with Hall of Famer, A's Hall of Famer, Dennis Eckersley. Alumni Sundays here at the ballpark. Chris Townsend alongside the Hall of Famer, the A's Hall of Famer, Dennis Eckersley. And Eck, it's always great to have you out at the ballpark. How are you?
I'm good. This year it's extra special now because I don't come all that much.
Yeah.
But being here today, it's almost halfway. The season's almost half done, and this is it. It's starting to sink in that this is it. And I never thought I'd be feeling sort of weird about it. I'm taking it in a little bit different than I think, obviously, if they weren't leaving. So here we are.
Yeah. We saw yesterday you're sitting there talking to another Hall of Famer on the field, Jim Palmer. And I know Jim felt the same way because obviously the Orioles and the A's had such great battles back in the day. And he remembers playing here. And for everybody coming here, and especially for someone like you who grew up here, I mean, you have but we were just telling a story before we did this off the air about how when you first got drafted by the Indians and you're throwing a bullpen here and Warren Spahn is watching you pitch. I mean, your memories here are insane.
That name, Warren Spahn, goes with Willie Mays. Willie Mays hit 16 home runs off Warren Spahn.
Wow.
I mean, I remember a game listening to it on the radio with Mays hit the home run in the 16th inning off of Warren Spahn. But anyway, that was 1972 when I got drafted out of, Fremont, whatever, Washington High School. And the A's were playing the Indians. That's who I got drafted by. So I got to come here, and they wanted to see me throw. Here's this kid, and Warren Spahn was the pitching coach.
Wow.
But that's a, memory that I'll never forget. But that's when the start of the run with the A's, 72, 3 and 4. So I was playing minor league baseball when they were doing their thing. But I was at a World Series game in 73, which was Mays' last game, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah. That was it.
Right. And
his last hit was here. His last everything was here.
Right. So, I mean, a lot of memories here. And then I came here to play for the A's at the right time. I was in my early 30s. You know what I mean? I think it would have been a lot harder to play here straight as a rookie at 20 years old. You know what I mean?
You had a lot of fun still going on at that age.
I needed some time. And when I got here, I was mature, 32-ish. And then we had a run. We should have won 3 in a row. My fault a little bit. But a lot of history here, and I don't know, it's sad. You can't wipe it out. You're not going to wipe it. They're not,
no.
You're not going to wipe it out. But I hope they take my number to the next.
Oh,
place.
you're going. Wherever we go, you will be there. And I think about Raleigh Fingers too, because growing up, Raleigh Fingers was a star, right? The mustache and everything. And I know that you growing up here got to watch him. Just when you guys get together and the bobblehead for Raleigh, because Raleigh to me is truly one of the greatest pitchers in the history of the game. Obviously, you are too. What's it like when you two get together?
He can't help but tell me, I went more than one inning. Yeah. And every time he came in, the bases were loaded and there was nobody out. You know what I'm saying? It's like
in the snow.
Oh yeah. Right? Exactly. He's just pissed that he had to go more than one inning. But that was the time.
Yeah.
And so he made his mark. He made his mark here. He made his mark a lot of places, Milwaukee, whatever. So he had a great career. But I told him I just saw him. I was like saying, man, you could have lasted, who knows, 4 or 5 more years. But great pitcher, great stash. You can't touch the stash.
Legendary stash.
Yeah.
We were doing a thing down at fantasy camp, and it's like funny, like the real little kids now come up to him because it's Captain Hook. They think he's Captain Hook. It's like the legendary mustache will never end. For you and your career, because I told you growing up, high school, you guys, as you said, your team just wasn't a really good team. You guys were rock rock stars. You had like a rock star. We're going to honor Jose Canseco later on. Here comes Ricky Henderson. You start doing your thing. Just take us back to what that was like to where, because we don't have baseball teams like that anymore.
It was clockwork. It was magic looking back. And even in the middle of it, I was like saying, this is something. And, and I got to put a, demonstrative.
You're not in Cleveland anymore.
Yeah.
You guys are like big time.
And it was, I tell you, looking back, because I took so much pride being an Oakland A. I really did. And we were like, when we came to town, man, we were the A's, man. We were something.
You had to go through like kitchen. You couldn't go through the front part of the hotel. They had to sneak you in.
It was like Jose was doing that Madonna thing. Seriously,
Yeah.
that's crazy stuff. And Ricky's Ricky, right? And Stu with his thing. I mean, we just had, it was a great bunch of guys, and then Parker sort of was there. We got a lot of guys in and out, but we always pitched. Man, we always had good starting pitching. And then Tony was a great bullpen manager, right? He always has been. He's all well known for that. An innovator, to say, right? He didn't start the one inning closer stuff, but it sort of went in like that. And I was lucky enough to be on the end of that. Now, did I think I was ever going to be in that situation? Seriously,
You're a starter.
I'm a starter forever, and I didn't want to go to the bullpen. You know what I mean? But if I had known that's what it was going to be like, yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Would have done it years ago. Well, that's also something like it's been done now. But when you think about your career as a starting pitcher, you won over 100 games, which that alone is an incredible career. Then you save 300. You're the first guy, and it was like, now that you've been able to retire, you've been out of the game a little bit. Do you ever reflect on really how great your career was?
The weird thing is, it's sad. I should be, sometimes you just remember the bad ones. Isn't that crazy?
I've heard Jack Nicklaus talk about that. He won 18 majors, but he only remembers losing.
Yes.
Majors. Like, what?
I can't help it. A lot of big, obviously the Gibson thing, and I did the Alomar. It was tough. I wish it could have been, hey, come on, be grateful. I was lucky to be on, lucky to win a World Series.
Yeah.
They almost canceled it.
Yeah.
Right? 24 years I played, got one World Championship. Shut up, you got one.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't.
A lot of guys don't even play in it.
But you don't sit around basking in your glory of when you played. But that's why it's nice to come back here and talk to you and let you whatever, get into it.
So now that you're retired, the grandkids and everything, what's it been like? Because basically you were in pro ball your entire life. From playing, you had such a great broadcasting career.
Oh, I forgot about it.
Let's not forget. A major market, national broadcasting career. What's it like to been step back and just kind of be Family Guy?
It's all right. Because I get tired of it being on. At least I did. It comes with age, but where do you take that? All I do is work out. It's like every day. It's not such a bad thing, The older you get, you got to be careful. But I miss it. I miss being on. Tired of being on, but there's an adrenaline that comes.
The juice.
Yes, there's adrenaline that comes with that, and that's sort of addictive. Like I'm done with that addiction. I've had enough of all the addictions. I give, but I can appreciate what you have to do a lot more being away from it. And I'll find my way. My golf game stinks. That's hard. But hey, life's not that, life's good. It really is.
Billy Bean's got a great story about how he goes, Eck used to be outside the Coliseum without a shirt on and shorts running around. And like for people nowadays, they think it's one of the greatest pitchers of all time. He's running down Hagenberger.
Yeah.
That all that was, you think about all your times.
You know what that was all about? You don't have to be in that kind of shape to go one inning. Think about it.
Yeah.
It's all for that. Right?
Yeah.
I used to run and I'd get done running saying, I deserve to be good. And that plays in that confidence, it plays in that whole thing. It really does. Saying, I deserve this. And I was ready. But you have to be on the right team. You can't choose that. Well, I guess you can once you're a free agent. But I was surrounded by a lot of good people, man, here, over the years, Voos and all the people that are involved behind the scenes.
Think about Ray Fosse.
And Foss.
mean, you jumped into his arms,
Yeah.
the no-hitter, and we'd always show it. But then, of course, him being a broadcaster here all those years, the great relationship you guys
Yeah.
had.
Oh, yeah. I mean, time goes and guys pass, the more and more, the older you get. So I'm telling you, you just appreciate, the time that you have and love the people you love,
Well, always remember this, that around here, you'll always be remembered as truly one of the greatest of all time. And I know that's got to feel special, right? Because you're in the Hall of Fame, but you're also in the A's Hall of Fame. And wherever this Hall of Fame goes, you're going to be in it forever. So those grandkids will always know.
I took them here yesterday.
Yeah.
Look.
Look at the number up
Look
there.
at them, the gate, you know what I mean? So I know that it was special. I really do. And I was gone for so long in Boston. That's another universe over on the East Coast. And to come home now, too bad the team's leaving, but to come home, I can appreciate it. It's a good feeling. This is where I'm from.
Well, I can tell you from my era growing up, I interview a lot of people. I do it every single day. But whenever I get a chance, I kind of feel like a kid because you were the man when I was growing up. So it's always an honor to have you here on A's Cast. And you know what? Enjoy the day.
I will. Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Good to see you, Eck.
Yeah, you got it.
The great Dennis Eckersley right here on A's Cast.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, step up to the plate with Xfinity Internet. Get the fastest speeds and low-lag streaming for an incredible viewing experience that knocks it out of the park. And you'll have a consistent connection with reduced buffering and freezing, so you can stay in all the action inning after inning. When it's game time, make sure to catch it all with internet that's powerful and reliable. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity, because it's only live once. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Many factors affect speed. For factors affecting speed, visit xfinity.com/network management.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
August 5th is International Trading Card Day, and Topps would like to celebrate with you. Visit your participating local hobby shop to receive a pack of cards, plus receive a special while supplies last. You can also celebrate International Trading Card Day with Topps on August 5th at the Oakland Coliseum and receive an exclusive A's card pack. Follow @Topps on social media and visit Topps.com for more information.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it.
I am Commander Cody. We've got our new shipment from Link Soul, all the summer gear. So whether you're playing golf or you're going out for dinner, you're hanging out with your buddies, or you're going to the beach, go see our friends at linksoul.com. And right now they have an offer where you can get 20% off. Go to linksoul.com. Remember, in the big leagues, look good, play good.
Hi, fans. This season, Kingsford Capital Management is the official hedge fund sponsor of the Oakland A's. At Kingsford, down to business is their way of seeing the world. Investing has its pitfalls, treacherous chasms of half-truth and despair. Kingsford's mission is to create opportunity through application of proven innovation and entrepreneurial focus with trust, tenacity, loyalty, and growth, establishing a strong reputation as a proven intended and validated bedrock of American finance. Kingsford Capital, down to business.
With the sunshine returning, it's time for golf, and more golf at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Cinnabar Hills is also your destination for great food with their beautiful renovated restaurant and quality craft beer selection at their full bar. Featuring a grass driving range and 27 championship caliber holes, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club is the best public course in the Bay Area. For more information, go to cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
Ever wondered what a 30-foot tall pistachio looks like? a giant redwood, or Big Sur, Chevron with Techron will be there to help you see them and tons of other places you have to see to believe. Because with unbeatable mileage and a clean engine, cars feel great. So next time you want to fill up on a little adventure, an awkward family photo, or a new commute to work, make sure to fill up at Chevron's along the way. Your car and your memories will thank you. Chevron with Techron, fueled by possibility.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland, and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
And the underdog Oakland Athletics win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, 3-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ for me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.
You're listening to A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Dennis Eckersley. By the way, we got to mention, glad to be that we're back on X, and all of you out there listening on X, and all of you, or I should say watching on X and watching on YouTube, and everybody who does it live. And then if you watch this later on in the future, thank you all of you who watch in the future.
Or whoever's watching in the future, like Lucas in Australia and our good friends in Australia. And
like live in the future watching it.
Yeah, or in the past, like in Hawaii. Because they're behind us.
Yeah. People watch all over the world. It's pretty cool. And then, of course, all of you listening on A's Cast, we love you too. Truly one of the cool things when you get to be a part of an organization like this and you get to talk to the guys like Dennis Eckersley. I mean, it's like, wow. And it's like, you wish the cameras were constantly rolling to see that Eck is like that off camera. Eck is like that with any conversation. He doesn't know how to act differently. He is so genuine. This is who he is with everybody. It does not matter. I've stood next to him as he's had conversations with other people, and you just kind of like listen in. I mean, Dennis Eckersley is as genuine a human being. It's his personality. It's who he is. Doesn't matter that he won the MVP and the Cy Young, and he's a baseball Hall of Famer, an A's Hall of Famer, and a Red Sox Hall of Famer. Does not matter. Dennis Eckersley is just one of the coolest guys of all time. And I mean, you were there.
Yeah,
it's genuine.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was. I told you after we did it, it was a really good interview. Eck really enjoyed it. He mentioned it multiple times to people that he enjoyed talking with you, and you did a great job. And
it has nothing to do about me.
Well, I'm trying to give you your flowers too.
I don't need flowers.
I went out of my way, and I wanted to thank X, so I went and found him in Raleigh in the suite they were at, and I took a picture of two of the greatest mustaches in the history of the organization, and that was really cool. I sent that to my wife. She goes, "That's a really good photo. We need to frame that." So
yeah, that is really cool. What did X say when you went and talked to him?
Thanks for taking the time to talk with me, pretty much, and tell you did a good job.
And that's the thing too. Like some of these guys, we've gotten to know Dave Stewart so well over time. He's become a friend, and Dave's just the sweetest guy ever. And when you have those conversations, you go back to remember we talked about Vita Blue, how genuine Vita Blue was with everybody. These guys are stars. These guys are stars, but they're super cool, especially as they get older as men, and they just, they appreciate when you appreciate them. And these Alumni Sundays event, I mean, think about Tim Hudson, how he was with us. Mark Mulder the same way. Tim Hudson now going to be at fantasy camp. How do you not want to go to fantasy camp and hang out with Huddy?
Or efforting Huddy to be on this program.
With Dave Stewart and Dallas Braden.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Whoa, don't sell Shooty short. Shooty's been going there for how many years
Shooty's
now?
Still going?
He's been going for 20-something years now.
Who? Shooty's a ringleader. I don't think you can do fantasy camp without Shooty Babbitt. Who would do all the stuff that he does?
Yeah. He does speak before everything. I mean, we're always there for the not the welcome dinners, but the dinners they do there, and he's always the one up front He's always the one up front kissing babies and giving speeches.
And they're always trying to rope us in. Nope, we're like voyeurs. We show up, we show everybody what's going on, we promote the thing, and that's it.
As they say,
are you going to play this year?
As they say, I'm just here to help the ball club. I'm just here to help Vittorio Tabartolo's team. I'm just here to help the ball club.
That is fact. When's he going to give us some flowers? I mean, July 20th. Here you go, Vito. July 20th. Make sure you show up. So all these bobblehead. Oh, Jose's bat's gone.
Well, hold on, I could do it. We'll show that, and then I can show the Jose one.
So this is, if you remember back, I've told you I love Jose Canseco. I made sure I had on the desk have a Jose Canseco bobblehead. This is the Rookie of the Year. I put him next to Crush Davis,
who the next day for Alumni Sundays, it'll be Jose, Crush Davis, and Chad Pinder. Chi will all be at the Eastside Club.
Chi.
They'll all be there. So
you know what?
Maybe we need to go and interview those guys.
We saw Chi in Nashville, and we were supposed to get him on. What happened?
That's on me. I haven't reached out to him yet. But now we can talk to him in person in a couple weeks at the Coliseum.
Well, we need to get him on and apologize. Did we not reach out to him?
I don't remember. That was so long ago. Months ago.
Yeah,
lots happened since then.
Winter meetings, it was in December. So in winter meetings, we're in the I always want to call it the Grand Old
Opryland,
but it was Opryland. One of the it's like the Opryland in Nashville has the most rooms of any hotel in the United States of America that doesn't have a casino attached to it. And it's massive. It is just, the property is massive. And it's next to the new Grand Ole Opry where I went over and took a tour. But it's massive, right? And it's like its own little world. And we're walking through, and at one part, as we're heading back to the convention area part, it's like these streets. You feel like you're like in a little town. And next thing you know, there's Chad Pinder. Like, of all the people that I'm going to run into, the 1,000, because as big as the baseball winter meetings are, we're not the only convention there.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
There's multiple conventions. They have a water park. They have this massive water park. They've got so much going on at this place.
Plus, the Titans were playing at home, so people were probably staying there to go see Titans Colts.
We were there for that.
Yeah.
That was our
incredible football game.
Delaire, our boss, took us there for our Christmas present. We went to, it was really cool. It was Colts against the Titans.
How many other Titans fans have you met besides Delaire?
That's it. And he's all in too.
Oh, he had the scarf, the old school crew neck
but
sweatshirt.
Delaire's legit because Delaire goes back to the Oilers.
Fact.
Right? Because what Vince Ferragamo grew up, he knew Vince Ferragamo's family, so he grew up an Oilers fan. So he followed him from Houston to Tennessee. They're getting a new stadium. They're getting the Titans, an expansion team, not an expansion team. They were stolen from Houston, but they're already getting their second straight stadium. The Titans are now getting a second stadium.
Their stadium now is what? Nissan Stadium, I think it's what
it's what, 20-something years,
yeah,
barely 20-something years old.
It's not that old.
And they're getting a new stadium.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, here real quick, here's the new Canseco bobblehead, which you can get on July 20th.
This is incredible. See, now look at this. You've got Jose in the white, home white, Jose in the road gray. You got Jose Canseco doing what he's the original. His 40-40 by far is the best 40-40. Not only because it was the original, but it was in a season that meant something, right? It's in a season where, I mean, it was huge. Or maybe I'm just being a homer.
No, it was a big deal.
I mean, his team's going to the World Series. That was a big deal. No one had done it before.
So now it's Canseco, Bonds,
yes,
A-Rod,
Soriano,
and Ronald Acuna Jr.
Well, I know Bonds didn't go to the playoffs because the Giants were in last place. I know A-Rod did it in Texas, and they never went to the playoffs.
Soriano didn't. The team stunk.
Soriano was the Cubs. Wasn't he a Cub?
I thought he was a Nat.
He wasn't a Yankee.
Yeah, that's for sure. Alfonso Soriano's 40-40 year. He was a Washington National. The 1 year he was there.
What year?
That was 2006.
They were not a playoff team.
Yeah.
And then who else did we say?
Ronald Acuna Jr., who did it last year. They were a playoff team. So
they got bounced.
Yeah, so only two guys.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can't tell me Jose Canseco's team got to the World Series. He's 40-40. He's the MVP. It's by far the legit. Put it up there again because it's sweet. I cannot wait to add it to the desk. The Jose Canseco. Jose was one of my favorite players growing up, and it's been an honor to do stuff with him, too. I know I've talked about that before, but
we'll see him next.
I dig Jose.
Next weekend.
He's crazy, but I dig it. By the way, Kotze now Thursday at 2:00 his time.
So it's noon for us. No, that's 11
Eastern.
for us. That's
So
11 for us. All right.
You want me to give him the thumbs up?
Sure. All right, we'll have to figure that out.
What do you got going on?
Well, if we're gonna go and work where we're supposed to go, we're gonna have to get up there.
No, I'm looking at this guy. I have a big Comerica event. I wish all of you could see it. I wish we had cameras. We did it last year with Giambi. This year we're doing with Ricky Henderson. We are going to be in the visitors clubhouse. They put a bunch of tables in there. We're going to have steak dinners, steak, chicken, vegetarian option. I will be having the steak. And I get up and I just shoot the breeze. I did it with Raleigh Fingers at Fantasy Camp. Did it with Giambi. But will be Comerica people, as they're a great sponsor of ours. And I'll just sit there and rap with Ricky Henderson. Arguably one of the best players of all time.
Yes. That's cool you're going to do it.
I always just like to say that because who's the best player of all time? Hell, I don't know. There's like a group of them. And as long as you're in the conversation, I think we're safe. Is Willie Mays one of them? Yep. Honored him yesterday. Ricky Henderson was there. Is Ricky Henderson one of the greatest players of all time? Yes. Are we saying who's the greatest of all time? I don't know. So Mark Kotze will be Thursday. Thursday program notes, same time. Tomorrow, Mason Miller, the new All-Star. And then we'll have Mark Kotze on Thursday. And then Friday, got the palm trees going on the Link Soul shirt today. It is vacation time.
We're efforting to get, hopefully, Craig Breslow, the chief baseball officer,
the smartest man in baseball
of the Red Sox. I'm waiting to hear back from them. And we are going to talk draft on Thursday. Jonathan Mayo of MLB.com will be here to talk about, who are the A's going to take?
Do you think Craig Breslow remembers the interviews we used to do back in the day and we would call him the smartest man in baseball?
Well, he's a smart man. Maybe he does.
Are we ready for some hot takes?
Speaking of smart men.
Well, whoa.
You don't correlate smart with me. You just don't.
See, it was either a real compliment or it was just purely backhand, just slapping you around, which I don't condone on this program.
It was sarcasm for sure. There's no doubt it was sarcasm.
That's right. By the way, Johnny, we'll get you out of here. We're going to let you lead off hot takes. But just for you, how cool is it being at Fenway Park?
Brother, it is amazing. It's funny. I obviously not feeling great. I kept my distance from the players, but I did ask a bunch of them from afar what it's like for them. And to a man, everyone was like, this place is incredible. They feel the history. Joey Estes was here at 6 years old as a fan. A little boy, he was here as a fan. Geloff played here as a high school all-star, whatever. So guys have been here, but just to be, you can just, the history just, you can just sense it. You walk in this place, it's the best place there is. It's amazing. I love it.
I agree. Wrigley's awesome, but Fenway's different because Wrigley is in like it's in a neighborhood. It's cool, but it's in a neighborhood. Like literally, when you say you're walking into a different time, it's just not Fenway. It's everything around Fenway is so old. The streets are so small. I mean, this was built, 1914? I mean, the whole area is like a historic museum around Fenway. So when you're walking up, you feel like you're in a different time. You feel like you've gone back in time. So it's just not the ballpark. It's the area around it.
No question. And, when we're walking through that tunnel and the player said to me, Babe Ruth walked through this tunnel. And I said, yep, Babe Ruth walked through this tunnel. So it's really cool, man. The place just, I don't know. It reeks of baseball history, and it just hasn't changed a lot. But there was controversy, that Ted Williams, that red seat, Ted Williams hit that ball.
Yeah.
The players were like, that's a little questionable. It's about 560 feet. I don't know about that one. So we'll see.
By the way, Babe Ruth, yes, he walked down that hallway. And then someday, soon, when I'm in that press box, I'll sit down and go, Johnny Doskow is here.
I was waiting for you to use that line. If you weren't, I was going to.
Johnny Doskow was here.
Yeah.
Just to let everybody know. Johnny D was sick and played through. Johnny D played hurt here. It's kind of like Willis Reed. Think about the guys who played here. Jack Youngblood played in the Super Bowl with a broken leg. I mean, Johnny D played hurt here. All right, let's get to the Open.
Every once in a while, you hear a really good sports hot take.
Mark this and remember what I told you. The Yankees will not win the World Series.
The Astros will go 17-8 in the month of June, which will propel them to pretty close to a top the AL West.
Then you hear some really bad hot takes.
Edwin Diaz will not record another save this season for the New York Mets.
I'm calling it now. There will be a collapse in Milwaukee, and the Chicago Cubs will catch them.
Angel Hernandez retiring is bad for baseball.
Well, on A's Cast Live, all takes are hot takes. It's time for Hot Takes Tuesday with Chris Townsend, only on A's Cast Live.
I sent myself the wrong file. I updated it. I put the one of me saying Paul Skeens was going to be in the All-Star game, so that'll be in there next time.
All right, Johnny, go quick because we got to save you for the broadcast.
Well, I have a blazing hot take, and you're not going to believe it. Are you guys sitting down? You guys sitting down, right?
Yeah.
My blazing hot take is the Oakland Athletics will have a winning road trip in Boston and Philly. The Oakland A's will have a winning road trip. They're going to win 4 out of 6 on this road trip.
What?
Yep.
Wait, Philly, right? Going to Philly after this?
Yep. Yes, we are. Yep.
I'll see you there, Johnny.
Isn't half the All-Star team Phillies?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
And the Red Sox. Wait. Now I want everybody to understand this. The Red Sox, okay, they took 2 of 3 over the weekend. They now have won 16 of 22.
Yes.
Dating back to June 12th, they've won 16 of 22, which is the best record in Major League Baseball. So they're the hottest team in Major League Baseball. And then you're going to go to Philadelphia, and half the team's an all-star.
Blazing hot take. And I'll tell you, Bledea's taken Bayo deep twice already. Took him deep in 23, took him deep earlier this year. Bledea's going to go deep. I mean, I'm telling you, the A's are going to win 4 out of 6 on this trip. Quote me.
I mean, he was right about Soderstrom. He was right about the Astros. So we'll see if we can get this one right.
I don't know if Soderstrom's really right, like, because it was kind of vague and like
he said
it was not vague. Oh, come on, Commander, you got me on this
I
one.
got
right?
Johnny on this one. He's wrong a lot. He did say Angel Hernandez retiring was bad for baseball.
Right.
Well, have we stopped playing games? I'm just wondering if we've stopped. All right, Johnny. That is really a blazing hot
It is.
day.
It's really hot.
The Red Sox won on Friday against the Yankees 5-3, lost 14-4 on Saturday, became, what the blazing hot take of the year would have been was like, hey, on Sunday, the 7th of July, hot take, ESPN is going to put the Yankees and the Red Sox on Sunday Night Baseball. You would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
You never see that. You never see it. No.
Hot take. All right, rest up. Did you get what I told you to get?
I didn't have time to. I'm going to tomorrow. I went Tylenol today. I'm going to do what you said tomorrow for sure. Yep.
Good luck. I'll
Thanks.
talk
Love
to
you
you
guys.
See you, Johnny.
Winning record in Boston and Philadelphia.
I always love Johnny's so optimistic.
So they took 2 out of 3, the Red Sox did, from the Yankees, and they've won 16-22, dating back to June 12th, the best record in baseball, averaging 5.3 runs per game in that stretch. Rafael Devers, last 8 at-bats, he's got 3 home runs. He's now hitting .405, 7 home runs, 16 RBIs in the last 11 games. Rafaela has 5 extra base hits, 9 RBIs in his last 6 games. He's now batting .346 with a .968 OPS, 4 dingers, 13 RBIs in the last 21 games. I mean, they got guys red hot. Bayo, your baby Pedro thing was a bad call. Baby Pedro. This guy's got a 5.19 ERA. I don't remember Pedro as a Red Sox or a Expo having a 5.19 ERA.
So I'm writing Johnny's hot.
You want to take that back?
No.
Your hot take that Brian Bayo is the next Pedro Martinez, baby Pedro?
Yeah, no, I don't. I think you're confusing me with some other Red Sox guy from up there in Boston.
You're the biggest Red Sox honk I know next to Yankee.
I thought it was a Yankee. You can't like both. That's like.
No, whenever someone's hot, you tend to like them.
So, all right.
You're still wearing your Chicago Bulls stuff from the 90s.
I was a big Luke Longley fan. So Ray Jensen, the Karate Kid, said his hot take is Pete Alonso is going to win the home run derby. His 3rd title. He says he's going to win his 3rd title. Since we're not going to be on during the derby. So Pete Alonso, Polar Bear's in it. All right.
Sticking with his Mets. And by the way, what are they going to do with him?
Well, they're still kind of in it. So I don't know if they're going to. Can you sell it to can David Stern sell it to the fan base in the city of New York that, hey, we're still in it. We're going to trade Pete Alonso.
Okay. Then what do you do with him?
Well, you lose him at the end of the season, most likely.
You don't sign him. You don't ink him up. He's your guy out of Florida, University of Florida. He's a Gator. You drafted him. He's your guy. Fans love him, and he hits bombs. What are you going to do with Pete Alonso?
That's a fair question. I mean, I would personally, I'd keep on. I would hold on to him because he's your
keep
franchise.
on keeping on.
He's your franchise player. I mean, there are people outraged on Twitter and that he was an all-star, but Mets have to have an all-star. Could make the case it was Lindor. I mean, Lindor, since that horrible first month, has been great. But Pete Alonso will get people to watch the home run derby. People love watching him hit in the home run derby. Love that he's going to be in it. I think the Mets. I said the Mets is a hot take. Hold on to him and don't trade him. But I think that they entertain the idea. But I think in the long run he stays, and then they probably lose him in the offseason.
What is your hot take?
So this happened a few weeks ago. Was it Jeremy Pena and Alex Bregman? I think Pena was mic'd up, or one of them was mic'd up, and there's a fly ball hit or a pop-up hit on the infield, and the ball dropped between them, and it was miscommunication. We need to stop the in-game players being mic'd up on the field. It doesn't do anything for me. I'm okay with them being mic'd up in the dugout, but when they're on the field talking, like I think Duran was mic'd up for Sunday Night Baseball. It was Mookie Betts a few years ago in spring training. Spring training, fine. The games don't mean anything. But in games, regular season, I'm not a fan of the guys being mic'd up. So baseball needs to stop miking players up during games. I know that goes against everything I've said about growing the game.
Joey Votto was great in the Iowa game.
Okay, special circumstances like that.
He was fat. He was at first base chatting. It was one of the best sports conversations I've ever heard. Joey Votto's fabulous. And the minute Joey Votto wants to retire, we need to somehow get him. I don't know if it's MLB Network. We need to get him in a booth. Joey Votto's got
Sportsnet.
Canada.
Well, he's Canadian.
We need to get Joey Votto somehow in front of a camera and allowing him to talk baseball. You know the stuff that's failed with Big, in my humble opinion, Big Papi isn't as great. Now that he hasn't played in a while, the Big Papi stuff doesn't really play for me.
I agree with that. I don't think he's that great.
Joey Votto, like if you had Joey Votto running around the dugouts talking to guys and stuff, because Joey Votto's funny. Big Papi he's got that big personality and everything, but just like he can't interview people. He's telling you, and obviously there's the language, but I mean, I've said I think Albert Pujols could be arguably the best. He and Smoltz. Have you ever heard?
Yeah.
When Albert, I once heard Albert Pujols, who's the slowest guy in the world, break down base running. I was like, damn, that was good. Like Albert Pujols has so much knowledge. He has such a bright mind with the game. There's one problem with Albert Pujols. You know what it is? There's one major problem. Why can't Albert Pujols be one or two of the best analysts in our game?
I was going to take the easy way out and say he's going to be a manager someday.
No.
Oh, I don't know.
There's one specific reason why it will never happen.
Because he was an Angel.
He's made so much money. He doesn't need the money. So he's going to show up for playoffs or show up for series. Albert Pujols, right? But you're not going to get him to do a regular thing because he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars and he doesn't have to.
Well, maybe
that's the problem.
Maybe the Angels should put that in his special services contract that he has to appear on a certain amount of games.
He gets paid $1 million just to show up to spring training for the Angels.
Maybe he has to do spring training games with Matty V.
So he's phenomenal. Like if you had someone like Albert Pujols or Joey Votto going around the clubhouses or in the game, going in the dugouts and talking to the players, it'd be gold. It would be gold. So I hear you. In football, it's great because when they play the game, they can't worry about where they're mic'd. I mean, the adrenaline and the violence, you don't even remember you're mic'd up. You're cursing and they gotta bleep it out. But you're hearing the hitting and hey, you got man, and they're talking to each other. It's awesome. You can't beat it. So if you do it right, it could be great. Is that your hot take?
Yeah. So what's yours? We got a few minutes left.
My hot take is simple. It's going to be Mason Miller. You guys wanted him in the All-Star game. You got him in the All-Star game. Bruce Bochy's going to take care of his guy, Mark Kotze. This is the when we like to say this isn't my first rodeo. Well, this is the last rodeo for Bruce Bochy. This most likely will be his last. He won the World Series.
Oh wow, hot take.
We don't know what's going to
hot take.
We don't know how the season. Rangers actually have gotten hot a little bit, and they got the Mariners right now coming up. They got the Mariners.
No, they're playing.
Oh, they beat the Angels yesterday.
Yeah, they're playing the Angels.
They pounded the Angels. Seager went deep again. But I think no matter what happens this season, this will be it for Bruce Bochy. He believed he still had it. Came back, proved it, won a World Series. So I think in Bochy's last All-Star game, he's going to take care of his good buddy, a guy that he's mentored. He's his mentor. Mark Kotze's mentor is Bruce Bochy. Bochy's going to take care of his guy. How does he take care of his guy? Well, our beloved American League will win the All-Star game. And coming out in the ninth inning, the guy that's thrown 278 pitches, 100 miles or plus, more than anybody else. Mason Miller's thrown 100 miles an hour or more than any other pitcher by a lot. The next closest guy is Justin Martinez of the Diamondbacks. He's 100 behind Mason Miller. It's Miller time. Miller time's coming in Arlington, closing out the All-Star game for the American League. He will get the save, book it, mark the tape. What did Tony Bruno used to say? Lock it out. What did Stone Cold lead pipe lock. I'm going Tony Bruno. The great Tony Bruno, ESPN radio back in the day. A stone cold lead pipe lock. Mason Miller will close out the All-Star game and get the save for the American League. That is my hot take.
When you mentioned that to me, I said I actually heard Boch is going bullpen game, and he's going to start.
Mason Miller's getting the win, and no.
Mason Miller's going to pitch all 9 innings in the All-Star game.
Timmy, and I some of my guys, Sanchez here, Kaner, and Mad Bum, and
Mad Bum might be there. He's not doing anything.
I called up Sabes. Where's Sabes? That's a horrible Bochy. That's my Bochy. You're welcome, America. You're welcome. That's my Bruce Bochy.
Well, you're telling me Bobby Evans
Timmy,
isn't going to be there,
and Bobby, and Sabes, and Sanchi. You forget about Sanchez. He threw a no-hitter.
Buster.
Oh my God, I forgot Buster. Oh, yeah, Buster's gonna be here too.
That's a good. That's another one we have to talk about when we talk about Bay Area athletes. Where's Buster Posey fit on that?
Top 10
with the. Well, you're talking about the Giants.
Top 10.
He's going to probably be in the Hall of Fame, and he won 3 World Series.
Okay, is Buster Posey better than Barry Bonds?
I'm going to say he's better than Bonds and Mays, but you got.
I'm just asking you the question,
No.
yes or no?
No.
Is Buster Posey better than Willie Mays?
No.
Is Buster Posey better than Willie McCovey?
Probably not, but people will argue because of the World Series he is.
He's not better than Willie McCovey. He's better than Juan Marichal?
No.
All right, well, that's 4. He's barely scratching my top 5. As a Giant.
Who's number 5 then?
He'd be number 5.
Had a Cepeda?
Yeah. Remember, Orlando Cepeda was a Veterans Committee guy. Still a Hall of Famer, but he was a Veterans Committee guy.
Also an A.
Okay, I'll ask you, is Buster Posey better than Reggie Jackson?
No.
Is Buster Posey better than Ricky Henderson?
No.
Is he better than Catfish Hunter?
No.
Is he better than Raleigh Fingers?
No.
Is he better than Dennis Eckersley?
No.
Well, those are all the A's, Hall of Famers.
I was looking from just the Giants. Where's he
No,
from the Giants?
our list is going to be top 10. We're going to have David Feldman do top 10. You had to play for a Bay Area team. So Tom Brady's out because he's from the Bay Area. No, Tom Brady left. You had to play for a Bay Area team. If we go
like Barry
that
Bonds
route,
did. Like Barry Bonds.
if we go that route, we just go top 10 Bay Area. Yes, Tom Brady is in there.
Bonds.
Jim Plunkett is in there. The great Jim Plunkett as a wrestler. Jim Plunkett was a phenomenal athlete. Not only a Heisman Trophy winner at Stanford, but at James Lick, he was wrestling, football, baseball. Jim Plunkett was a fun. No, you had to play, and Jim Plunkett did play for the Oakland Raiders, but we're talking top 10. So I don't have Buster Posey when I talk top A's or Giants. And now we got Warriors. Is Buster Posey better than Steph Curry? Is he better than Rick Barrett? And how does he make this top 10? Is he better is Buster Posey better than Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Ronnie Lott, Steve Young? Look at all these guys I've named. Buster Posey might not even be in my top 15.
I'm just making the argument. People say, well, the 3 World Series.
I get it, but all these guys I've named are Hall of Famers, and they've all had greatest numbers of, they're unbelievable. Joe Montana had 4 Super Bowls, bro.
Oh, I know.
Jerry Rice holds all the what record does Buster Posey hold? Nada.
I was saying, I'm trying to think if they're saying.
Buster Posey is a great player. Buster Posey is going to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He's just not in my top 10 all-time Bay Area athletes. No way. No way. He might not even be top 20. Ooh, hot take.
So he had a Patty Marlowe.
Yes.
Hater.
I am a hater.
Sharks hater.
Wow.
Is he going to be, well, at the end of his career, will he be behind Macklin Celebrini?
By the way, the Macklin Celebrini AI interview with Brody Brazil is hilarious.
He signed his deal, by the way. He's now officially a Shark for everyone.
He's not going back to college?
He's not going back to BU for his sophomore year. He's going to be playing in San Jose.
Are you excited?
It'll be fun.
You need to get me excited. Hey, the Sharks have gotten a lot of money off of me in the past.
Well,
I have bought, back in my drinking days, I spent a lot of money at the Shark Tank, and I've bought my kids Sharky dolls, Shark this, Shark that. I've spent a lot of money at Shark games. To get me back, to get my money back, you got to start winning some games.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many free tickets I'm going to be getting this year. Now with Celebrini and Will Smith and all these young kids are going to be here. People are going to want to go see them. I don't know if they're definitely going to have to buy tickets for opening night, but that's down the road.
All righty. By the way, I got to get the Joey Estes note in real quick. Other than the two clunkers he had against the Astros and the Twins, Joey Estes has a 2.39 ERA. Is that any good?
Yeah.
In the other 8 starts since joining the rotation. So you take out the clunker against the Twins and the Astros, he's got a 2.39 dating back to mid-May. And Joey Estes has thrown the highest percentage of pitches in the strike zone, 57.7% among the 249 pitchers with at least 600 pitches thrown this season. Joey Estes is no joke. Let's go. Joey Estes, Brian Bayo, A's, Red Sox, Fenway Park. We get you ready for it next. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dennis Eckersley. Thank you, Johnny D. And thank you, David Feldman. Great show today. Back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Mason Miller will join us on A's Cast Live. Up next, A's Total Access.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Being a Chevron car these days has been quite the adventure. Miami to Seattle, ocean to ocean. I've stopped at so many states and collected so many bumper stickers. Sometimes I feel like a moving passport book. It's just so great what I can do with Chevron with Techron, because it gives me unbeatable mileage and keeps my engine clean. Plus, there are so many Chevrons along the way. Now the only thing I'm worried about is where to go next and where to put all my new bumper stickers. Chevron with Techron, fueled by possibility.
August 5th is International Trading Card Day, and Topps would like to celebrate with you. Visit your participating local hobby shop to receive a pack of cards, plus receive a special card if you purchase $10 or more of Topps products while supplies last. You can also celebrate International Trading Card Day with Topps on August 5th at the Oakland Coliseum and receive an exclusive A's card pack. Follow @Topps on social media and visit Topps.com for more information.
If you haven't been to the Chicken Pie Shop in Walnut Creek, what are you waiting for? You're going to love the new menu, and it's a great place to watch all the games. Come taste their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. They have a new spring menu with special dishes and a full bar with new delicious spring cocktails. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next corporate party or birthday celebration. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
It's summertime, and I can guarantee you probably need to redo your wardrobe. You want to look good, and you want to feel comfortable. This is Chris Townsend, and you got to go check out my friends at Link Soul. They've got all the finest fabrics. You're going to love the shirts, the polos, the shorts, you name it. Redo your look for summertime. Go to linksoul.com right now, and you can get an offer for 20% off. Remember, in the big leagues, to play good, you got to look good.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, step up to the plate with Xfinity Internet. Get the fastest speeds and low-lag streaming for an incredible viewing experience that knocks it out of the park. And you'll have a consistent connection with reduced buffering and freezing, so you can stay in all the action inning after inning. When it's game time, make sure to catch it all with internet that's powerful and reliable. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity, because it's only live once. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Many factors affect speed. For factors affecting speed, visit xfinity.com/network management.
Nestled in the hills of San Jose, minutes from Silicon Valley, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club offers 27 holes of championship golf, first-class pro shop, practice facility, and great food in the grill. This time of year also means family and business get-togethers. Let the folks at Cinnabar Hills make your event unforgettable while enjoying their award-winning venue. It's all there for you. Championship golf, a great space for any events, and incredible food. See it all at CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
Hi, fans. This season, Kingsford Capital Management is the official hedge fund sponsor of the Oakland A's. At Kingsford, down to business is their way of seeing the world. Investing has its pitfalls, treacherous chasms of half-truth and despair. Kingsford's mission is to create opportunity through application of proven innovation and entrepreneurial focus with trust, tenacity, loyalty, and growth, establishing a strong reputation as a proven intendant and validated bedrock of American finance. Kingsford Capital, down to business.
This has been a presentation of the Oakland Athletics.